Now. Talk now.
So
This
that
is this
okay,
would be
I'm
the
now
time.
talk now. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm talking now so that you can see if my audio levels are okay. Actually, worried about that
Okay.
because I changed the gain on my microphone. So
It says it's online. It's starting. The health is yellow. That's not good. I've had a few like internet issues this past week, but hopefully we'll be okay. Um. Okay. Let's see. Go ahead.
actually,
Speak.
worried about that
Okay.
because I changed the gain on my microphone. So
It says it's
my neighbor when I was a
online.
kid, he was my best friend. I hung out with him every
Okay.
day.
Now
He was
stop
real.
talking because I gotta have to listen to it. I've had a few like internet issues this past week, but hopefully we'll be okay. Um. Okay. Let's see. Go ahead.
Actually,
Speak.
worried about that
Okay.
because I changed the gain on my microphone. So
It says it's
my neighbor when I was a
online.
kid, he was my best friend. I hung out with him every
Okay,
day.
now
He was
stop
real.
talking because I gotta have to listen to it. I've had a few like internet issues
I think
this
it should be
past
cool.
week, but
Yeah, I
hopefully
think
we'll
it
be
should be
okay.
cool. Hopefully.
Where's the chat? Is there? Oh, I didn't link it to anyone. Of course, no one's here. Is this? It better not be public. Oh no, it's unlisted. Okay, I did my job well. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do this, but we are definitely already
Can you link it
online.
to me too?
Yep, of
Or if you put it in
course.
the server, I can just click on the link.
Yeah, okay, I'll do that.
Oh wait, you can't put it in the server.
Yeah, it's gonna
Oh,
be a post, but you can click it through
I
there.
see.
Okay.
Man, tiredness just hit me.
Dude, no,
A
it's
little bit.
it's been with me. It's been with me. It's real late. It's real late over here. All right,
I
here
mean,
it
I was
goes.
feeling just fine until just a moment ago.
For the types of dumb shit. How's this? How's this? This is a little bit too ambitious. Not like, I mean, not ambitious, but I don't know if it's appropriate considering Tkyo hasn't even showed up yet.
Wait, where'd you type it?
Announcements.
Oh, I see.
Where else would it be?
Sirens are wailing. Come join
Yeah.
us if you dare.
Where's
I
that
think that's
wall?
fine.
So I'm saying, like, maybe I should put like the, what do you call them? Like the bomb alarm, bomb sirens. What do you call it? Like, I forget. But whatever.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know what you're
So
talking
what's
about.
going on, man?
But okay. Okay,
You're
so
my
we're on.
guest, for the time being,
Okay.
before our
Did you
guest
prepare
comes.
questions for me?
What did you say? Do I have questions
Well,
for you?
anyway, well,
No.
this is what I was gonna say when you told me to just like say something so that you could do the audio test.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I was looking at myself in the camera, and I was just realizing how I can't move one eyebrow up without moving the other one up at the same time. And that reminded me that when I was a little kid, I was best friends with my neighbor, and he was able to just move one eyebrow up, like. And I
One
was
of
like,
my
"How did you
eyebrows
learn?"
is just straight up higher. Look at that. It's weird. All right, go
What do
on.
you mean?
Look. It's
Higher
like
than mine?
no higher than the other one. Look
Oh,
at that. Did you notice
is that due to an
before?
injury or
Who
are you just
knows?
born like
Probably
that?
mini stroke. All right, continue though.
Oh yeah. So anyway, I asked him, "How'd you learn how to do that? How'd you learn how to raise one eyebrow without the other?" And he said that he taped one of his eyebrows up for a whole day and just kept it there. And he would just do that all the time. And I just remember that, and I was like, "That gotta be bullshit. There's no way that is the real explanation." But I don't know.
I think you told me this before.
Really?
Yeah.
I doubt it. I feel like I haven't even
I'm
remembered that this happened for
I'm
years.
almost sure that I've heard this before.
Really?
Yeah, and
That
I
reminds me
think
though.
that's
I
pretty
remember
cool.
that a long time ago I saw a Steve Kaufman video where he was talking about how when he was a little kid he heard that it's possible to move your ears and he didn't know how to do it, but when he was sitting and watching TV he'd just sit there and try to wiggle his ears for hours and hours, and eventually he became able to do it eventually just by trying to. And that stuck with me for some reason. He was using that as like a metaphor or analogy for language learning, but I don't remember what he was talking about in particular, but I can't move my ears. I
Yeah.
remember for a while I thought that I could move my ears, but then I realized I was just moving my
There's like
jaw.
one with like
My-
moving your like nostrils.
Oh, you mean like this? I think I can do that.
I'm doing it, but it's like the more I do
That's
it,
like level
the
one.
the worse I get like at like replicating it. So I should stop I did it a few times, so I feel like I've succeeded. But yeah, that is level one. Ears,
Yeah.
that's a whole another ball game
Well,
for sure.
my aunt, she can like bunch her tongue up so it looks like lasagna.
Oh
Like,
yeah, I've seen that. Ugh.
but apparently you just have to be born with that talent to be able to do
Yeah,
that. I don't think you can learn
I
that.
think it's like a glitch. Like that's not natural. I mean, it's natural
Well, it's
because it
like,
happens, but you know what I'm saying.
well, you know, like how
It's
some
not
people's
normal.
fingers
It's
like
not
bend in really
average.
weird ways just naturally.
Yeah.
It's like that. It's like, I mean, it doesn't seem to have any negative consequences, but
Yeah, I
I
don't
don't
think
know.
so either. Hey
So,
guys, is the title correct? It should say YogaCast number four, Papa Tkyo and Matt.
so that's what I see.
Okay, cool. Just making sure everything's okay. By the way, guys, I'm like really tired, and my IQ's probably at least like 50 points lower than usual. So, like, just forgive me.
Yeah, I'm pretty tired, but feel all right.
Trying to, get a little cola in me. Try to get a little caffeine. See how it goes.
Well,
What's up?
there's questions for you that people left. Maybe we should answer
Oh
those and
yeah,
post
there we
videos for
go.
those.
Yeah, I forgot about their questions. Sorry, guys. Forgot all about that. Yeah, you can answer them too.
I was planning on it.
You c- If I this is my cast.
I
You'll
know, but
answer
while
'em
I'm here, I'm gonna,
if
you get to answer
allowed.
first, but I gotta
If
add in any
allowed.
points that I think you left
No,
out
yeah, I know. Yeah,
while I'm here.
yeah. At this hour, I'm liable to make an ass out of myself, so it helps anytime that I'm not talking. So, yeah, I second that. All right, let's go. Posts. Okay, sorry guys, I don't even have it open here. So let's see. YogaCast number 3. Let's
I found the
go.
link. If you didn't find it yet,
Yeah,
I can
just
send it
link
to
it.
you.
Link it. Yeah, link it over. Well done, sir. Okay, so the first question. You could have just read the questions if you found the link. You are here.
Well,
You're literally present, so that
I
would be
mean, you want
fine.
me to read them? I can read them if you want.
I guess I'll. No, I guess I'll just. Or yeah, okay, you can read them.
Okay. Asflug asks, for the next cast, how much immersion would you say you need to get Japanese back to your? I didn't really read it right. I have to start over. I was
Well
trying to
done.
hide the fact that I fucked up, but I couldn't do it. How much immersion? How much immersion would you say you need in Japanese to get your level back? There you
Like in hours, or like what, or like how many hours per
go.
day
Not
for how long?
specified.
Not
However,
specified.
you feel is most appropriate to answer the
Okay, I feel the
question.
most appropriate way to answer is by saying how many hours per day and then how many days. So realistically, probably like 8 hours per day for like 6 months. Like realistically, it's,
Fair enough.
I would have to guess that it would take a substantial amount of time, considering like I've done almost no listening or reading for the past. Now it's 2012, no, 7 years. Now it's 7 years. So yeah,
But that's not
good
bad. I
while.
mean, you could move to
I think
Japan, and
I'd
then half a year later, you'd be
yeah.
in top shape.
I
So,
I think I would pass my previous level within 6 months of like 8 hours a day. But I wouldn't. I don't think I'll ever have enough time to do that. So it's
well,
not
yeah, but unless
realistic.
you moved to Japan and you weren't working full time, then that would happen pretty naturally. I feel like so it's pretty cool to think about that you have that potential at all times, right? Like I could just move to the country within half a year, I'd be killing it. That's pretty cool.
That's why I don't really
Yeah,
stress like the language learning thing right now, because I'm pretty sure I can very quick. I mean, like you've seen that I can read books right now if I need to.
yeah. I
Do
mean,
I
you can
have to
still
make
speak
more?
Japanese. Like
Yeah.
when we first met, we like used to speak Japanese more before we stopped giving a fuck, kind of.
It's not just that, dude. I'm just like heavy on the code. Like I'm busy. Like I can't be
Yeah,
bothered to like use my resources for anything else at the current moment. So, how
yeah.
about
But back
yours?
like
Go
before
on.
that, before MIA was a thing and we were just friends and you were thinking that maybe you would move to Japan soon, then you were planning
Yeah,
on
I was
getting your
going.
Japanese back. And so then it was like we
Yeah.
would speak Japanese
Yeah, I was
and stuff.
going into it then. I mean, like if I probably will still move to Japan in the future, and if so, like of course I would like to just get it like at least like to my peak level. Even that peak level wasn't like native level or anything. That's fine. That's now it's like a handicap. It's not a handicap. I mean, most people would be like thrilled to have my level. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think so.
But you know me, that I'm not thrilled with that.
Yeah,
So
and I totally get not wanting to work hard every single day to keep your ability up just for the sake of having the ability. Because I used to be like that. I used to be like, oh, I'm never going to let my ability get rusty. I'm going to always keep it tip top shape. But then when it's like you're in a situation where you never speak Japanese and you're never going to speak Japanese for like multiple months, it seems like why should I be training every single day for this
I mean, I
Olympics that's never going to
speak
come?
colloquial Japanese daily, but that's like whatever. You know what I mean? That's not the
Yeah, but
real
you're already
deal.
meeting your needs.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Like I'm not improving by doing that. I'm getting worse by doing that. I feel like I would say just speaking colloquial Japanese makes you worse overall. Like you're not gonna improve by
If you're not
just
immersing, you mean? And you don't
yeah.
mean to say the act of speaking it makes you worse, but just
No,
if
oh
that
yeah, I
alone
should.
is all you're doing,
Yeah,
it's not enough to stop the force of
yeah.
nature of you get rustier and rustier without
I
immersion.
mean, you'll be good at colloquial Japanese. You're not gonna lose that, but like, what's that? Like, that's not
Yeah,
very
but I actually
useful
feel like if
for
you're
the
just speaking
conversations I
every
enjoy
single
to have.
day
Yeah.
without getting immersion, then over time weird habits are going to slip in. Like you're going to just say something wrong and for some reason it's going to stick and then you're
That's
going to
true.
reinforce that over and over.
Oh,
So I
I
feel like
definitely have
over time
noticed that.
if you just speak all the time, then because I hear some polyglots of like, oh yeah, in order to maintain it, I decided that I'm just gonna think in that language for 1 hour a day every day with no immersion. And I was like, I mean, maybe that'd be fine for like a period of a few months, just because it'd be better than nothing if your schedule is that packed. But really, I feel like that'd be dangerous because without immersion, you just skew off, and your own output would
No.
probably get weirder and weirder and
Yeah.
more
It definitely. I mean,
idiosyncratic.
from experience, that definitely does happen, and it has happened. So,
Yeah, because I don't when I'm just in my head, I make up new uses of words and like I make up new words and terms, and
how about you? Are you? Would you consider that like yourself to be at your peak now? And if not, like, how long would
no,
it take you to get back to your peak level? And
probably
when
like
was your peak? My peak was like 2012, guys. So go ahead. When was yours
I
and
mean,
how
it's hard
long?
for me to say because like over the past couple of years, I've had like these periods of time where I do spend a lot of time and effort on Japanese, and then periods where I don't. And I work on different things during those periods. And so I haven't. There hasn't been one point where in every area I'm at my max. There was like one point where I had the peak reading ability and I could read things from 100 years ago really, really well. And then there was another peak where like my pitch accent was as good as it ever had been, and I was really good at speaking. And there was probably another time where like my pitch accent was worse, but overall I was better at expressing myself. So it's hard to point to like one point in time, but like around the time, like probably around like 6 months ago, I was when I was like when I still had some Japanese friends before they went back to Japan. I hung out with them regularly. I was definitely like a lot better than I am now. Like I spoke Japanese the other day, and I definitely felt that I was way worse. But I don't. I feel like it would only take like 2 months probably to get back to my
Yeah.
peak.
Cool, cool, cool. Yeah, it'll take some time, but not that long.
Yeah,
I
I
feel
feel
for
like
both of
my
us.
pronunciation gets worse really quickly if I am not practicing. Like because my tongue gets so used to making the English vowels that when I try to speak Japanese, it sounds more Englishy, and I can hear it, and it's like cringy. But I can't stop it immediately. It takes practice to get back the accurate vowels.
I've noticed that I have trouble just speaking regularly because I don't speak all day anymore. All I do is just sit
Yeah, you mean
silently
in
all day
English, right?
in any language because I don't speak enough. Like I need to speak more. Like I barely speak throughout the day. Like I'll speak to my wife like a bit, like not that long. Like on the weekends we'll speak a lot because that's when we have our time together. But during the like work week, it's just hard. Like hard work like daily. I almost never speak, and I've realized that like my speaking ability and my was it enunciate my ability to enunciate is slowly like
Deteriorating.
deteriorating. Yeah, that would be the way to say it.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I've
you've talked
noticed
about
that.
how code has a negative impact on your ability to speak human languages because you start
Absolutely.
thinking in code, basically. And I remember one time you called me to like you were in the middle of coding some part of an add-on, and I was like out and about, and you called me on my phone because you had to ask like whether we should do it like this or like that, and you were like right in the middle of coding, and you like could not speak like coherently, and I had no idea what you were saying,
Yeah.
and you were like so I could like see that you were so into it, and you're like, so and this thingy that does that other thing, what should it do when it does like this? And I was like,
That's
what?
what I'm saying.
Come
Yeah, like
again?
that's how the that's like when you start like coding, like you're thinking it's just like chunks of information, like just visualized, and like the relationships between the, like it's not like a stream. Like you're not thinking in that way. Like it's a completely kind of different way of thinking. It's like just like logical relationships and like, you know, the relationship between different data, and
Yeah.
it just does not fit into like what we do normally when we're trying to like just, hey, we're only focused right now on this stream, like this one like output, and it just you should make that as
Linear stream.
coherent as possible and like as eloquent as possible and articulate as possible. That's very difficult to just focus on like the one thing. Like my mind wanders more so.
Yeah. Well, that day I got like a sense of that. I was like, "Whoa! I can feel that you are in a different plane right now, like a different conceptual plane, and you had to like come out of it to translate what you were trying to
Yeah,
get across into normal human language."
yeah.
But
And I was also just doing that till like about an hour ago, so I'm kind of still in that plane right now.
yeah, I
Plus,
feel like
I'm
you're doing pretty well
exhausted.
right now.
I'm doing okay, but I don't know. I feel like I'm not doing that all right, but I guess I'm doing okay. It's yeah. Con-
Cool. I
considering
just checked the
like
comments
the
because I
fatigue.
was hoping. Oh, sorry to cut you
Hope it.
off, but
Go on.
I just checked the comments because I felt like we were having a pretty interesting conversation. Wanted to see if there was some nice commentary on that. Nothing.
Everyone's sleeping, dude. Like, how many people are even watching? I don't even know where to check.
It's
Where do
like
I check?
15.
Oh, 15 people are watching. They're probably like listening like as they lay in bed ready to sleep.
Okay, well, at least this will, stay recorded and go on the Patreon because I
Yeah.
feel like some nice banter going on right now.
Yeah, a little bit of banter. What's the next question? I'm
Okay,
so tired. Go on.
Gnizmit asks, what number of Anki sentence cards a day do you think is best? How many should one aim for as an end goal?
Best for You see, that's a. I hate to say it. That's a
It's an
loaded.
easy
I hate when people
question.
say that's a
What's
loaded
best?
question. That's a loaded question. No, it's a loaded question. Because do you know why? Because what's best for what? What's best for like a crazy approach that will get you like kick started right at the beginning? I'd say 40 cards a day for the first 3 months. Like if you have time, 40 cards per day for the first 3 months, and then you taper off. That's what I would
The
say.
question, I mean, I think what he's asking is
What's
what's
best?
best for
Like,
him in his specific situation.
what is his
So
situation? Sorry, I didn't. I
he didn't say that,
Oh,
but
okay. Well, I can't say.
we're just gonna have to infer.
I'll infer that he doesn't want to do like the crazy 3 months, like what do you call it? The induction phase, or what do you call it? Incubation period or whatever.
Yeah,
Like,
incubation.
yeah, the incubation period. I'm guessing he's not going to be doing that. And considering he's not going to be doing that, probably your recommendation of 10 cards a day is probably good because it's just a reasonable approach that'll
Slow
keep
and
you
steady
getting
wins the
better.
race.
Yeah, keep you getting better every day instead of like the insanity approaches that I've
Yeah,
always
it's
tended to follow.
sustainable.
Yeah.
Gotta do what's
I definitely
sustainable.
like another thing to mention is that I burned out like several times when I was doing my crazy approaches. Like I'd burn out and take like a week off, but it didn't matter because I did 40 cards a day for like 2 months. You know what I'm saying? So like overall it didn't matter, but like there was definitely like some times where I needed to blow off some steam, etc. So and I did
Maybe
so.
we should come up with a principle like imagine that you were the perfect version of you with infinite willpower and perfect discipline, and think how
Yeah.
many cards you could do a day, and then do 1/3 of that every day. Because most people just do that number and then they burn out, but maybe just think of that number and then do 1/3 of that.
Yeah. You could try that.
And that'll probably be 10 for most people. We'll be like, oh yeah, I could do 30 easy. Okay, cool. Do 1/3 of that. Do 10 then.
Can we talk about that video we saw about 333 cards, or is that
Oh yeah,
is that
yeah. We
bad?
can talk
I
about
think
that.
we can
It
talk
was. It
about that.
wasn't MIA. It was AJAT.
It
So
was an eight. Yeah,
it
it was an
wasn't.
AJAT
It
video.
wasn't
That's the
even
AJAT
AJAT slash
mentality.
MIA. It
It was
wasn't
just
even
AJAT.
AJAT slash MIA. It
Yeah.
was just AJAT. So
So we saw
I
a
think we
little
can.
AJAT video the other day, guys, and Matt actually linked it to me, and it was
Well,
a.
we gotta say first. It was a Japanese. It was a video of someone speaking Japanese, and it was like Jisho Shokai,
Oh yeah, it
which
said a
like
Jiko Shokai. Go on.
yeah. And so I mean,
Which
if you guys are
means
studying Japanese, it should be Jiko Shokai. It means self introduction. It was Jisho Shokai, which means dictionary introduction.
yeah, like as if
Uh,
she was gonna. And it was a girl, and it's like as if she was gonna introduce us to like a dictionary she uses.
yeah, but there was no dictionary to be found. But anyway, then she had another video where she was just talking about how she just started doing AJAT and she's gonna get really good. And she was like, did she say 330 cards? What
Oh
was it?
yeah, she said she had some time off, like coming up, She had like summer break or something. So she heard that like 10,000 cards is where it's at. So she was going to do 333 cards a day because she calculated if she did 333 cards a day, she was going to be able to finish 10,000 cards over summer break. And I thought I was fucking bold doing 100 kanji a day, but oh, little did I know I would be outdone.
Imagine that. 300 cards a day. You would
Dude,
literally just like from the second you woke up, you just have to be like, Unky.
only you couldn't immerse at all. Like you couldn't do anything else. There
Man,
like
your brain
there
would be so fried after
there
like 4 days of that.
there are many forms of abuse that I would rather put myself through than do that. like passive abuse where all I do is just have to take it instead of like actively to just study all day. 333 cards, man, that would be.
But that's funny because like if we were talking about doing 100 cards a day, then you could maybe keep that up for like a week if you really tried, right? Like you did 100 kanji a day, right? So I could see someone being like, "Yeah,
3 weeks,
I
bro.
started this a week
Three
ago. I'm doing
weeks.
100 cards a day." But then the funny thing is, if you're talking about 300 cards a day, you can tell she hasn't started yet. She hasn't done one day of that because
Yeah.
that idea would not last one day.
Yeah. Of course it wouldn't
That's
last
how
one day.
extreme it
It's
is.
insane. It's insane. It's not something you can like, and it's just funny. Like, oh, actually, this actually brings up like something that's pretty interesting to talk about, which is that like this is a clear like like example of someone who thinks they know what AJAT. Even in this case, it's AJAT, but it could just as easily be MIA. You could plug in MIA there, and someone misunderstanding concepts in MIA, and you can just clearly see that people like they have to take their time and understand. I mean, mind you, like in our case, we're doing our best to like speed up like the resources and like guidelines that will, excuse me, I was drinking cola, that will make it more easy to follow. But you can see that people can really get different ideas about what they're supposed to do from the same, resources, from the same like source material. So we got to be careful with that going forward.
Yeah, but I mean, I think at this point, like if someone said that in the server, they'd quickly be instructed that that's not the best idea. So
Yeah.
hopefully, the community can help steer each other in
Yeah,
a
yeah.
good
Yeah.
direction. Except then again, then we get a reputation for being a cult by doing that. So lose either way.
You can't win. Don't forget. This is the internet. You literally can't win, so just give up on that ludicrous notion.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I want to go to the next question.
Yeah, what's the next question?
I am me asks, do you think it's worth to pause work or school if your savings allow it to study Japanese full time? And then he like
Oh,
replied to his question and said, "I tried it, but it didn't work out for me. A bunch of health issues crept up instead, which slowed me down."
okay. Wait, this is actually kind of a cool question. Wait. Oh, I see. Like how he stated like the response to his own question at the beginning there made me think that like, oh, as a result, a bunch of health
Yeah,
issues popped up.
he's not
No,
really clear about
yeah,
that.
but I think he means like, oh,
This just
they
happened to be
happened to pop up at that time, which made it like him
probably, yeah.
unable to do that. Well, what he's saying, like, would it be good to do that? I can't say whether it'd be good because that's an individual choice for sure. But like, if the question is, are you going to improve a lot more if you spend a lot more time with it instead of are distracted by many different activities you have to do? I would say that that's like pretty clear that that's the case. That's how I've always approached my languages. I mean, I
Well,
did have some jobs later, but at the beginning of every language, actually no, when I did Chinese, I had a job, but like I only worked 3 days a week, so it was easy peasy though. But
I mean, I think that's obvious, but I feel like that's not really what he's asking. I feel like he's asking, is that a good life choice? Is that worth it?
well, okay, okay. So is it worth it? I mean, it depends how important. I mean, from my perspective now, I would say that like languages, like if I could choose now, see, it's really complicated because I don't regret spending time abroad when I was young because it was like quite, I don't know, like I don't want to sound too like grandiose, but it was quite beautiful. Like it was a beautiful experience in a way. because I was like young and naive, and then I grew up. Not only did I grow up a lot, like I learned so much, but I learned it in like unique, different, more challenging environments than I otherwise would have faced if I would have stayed in the United States. But then there's also like the idea of like, well, you did this, which is really cool, and if you didn't have your foreign language ability, it would have probably been a lot worse. And the meaningful connection that you feel, that I felt that I made would have likely been much more difficult to, to have done. But as far as like a task, if I had to look at like language learning as a task and separate it from the experiences that I had, fuck, I don't know if I could like, I don't think I could like rationalize that to myself as the first task that I should do. Because now, like, it seems like such a great task. Like, Steve Kaufman has it right. Mind you, he did it his whole life, so he didn't have it right. He has it right now. Like, you get older, because it's like a passive task. Like, it's pretty passive. You can chill. Like, you can get in the zone and just chill. It's not something like code. Code requires so much energy. Like, I wish I would have, like, mind you, I've dabbled. I've dabbled a lot, like, when I was younger, but I wish I would have like gone all in when I was younger because I do notice like that I had more energy and like more it's not even more energy because it's not like I get that tired. I can still go all day, but like my will to grind has definitely like noticeably depreciated. So that's where I would be concerned is like you're going to have your best grinding years right now. I'm not sure language learning is the like best place to put your best grinding years. You know, like the best task like to do during those years. But the
Yeah.
experiences you can get from it, like if you're doing the experience thing, it might outweigh it and be worth it because as a human being, like yeah, I it was kind of worth it in some ways, but some ways not. What do you think, Matt? I'm actually
I think it depends a
curious.
lot. I think there's certain situations where you could justify it, but I think it's really hard with Japanese in particular because, for example, if you didn't speak English and you're like, oh, let's just say hypothetically, there's some German kid who never learned English at all, and he
I,
was like, oh,
Let me clarify really quickly that when I answered, I'm only answering like in regards to Japanese because obviously we've already talked about this, and I agree with what you're about to say in the case of like European languages, etc. Go ahead.
yeah, yeah,
Don't
well,
use German. Don't use German because Germany's
yeah, you're
fucking
right. They all
good
speak
as,
English. Like,
and
I don't
Germany's a
know.
good fucking place too. So you don't want to use like
Yeah, like,
like
let's say you're
Indonesia or
like,
something. Like let's
I
be
mean,
honest.
I
Be
don't want to say
realistic.
anything that's gonna piss people off, but
No, but
basically,
let's
like,
be
if you,
honest. Like you, like there are certain things as like standard of living indexes across the world. Pick
yeah,
a country with a lower one than Germany because it's not like they
but
do
okay,
not
what if you
benefit
were like
nearly as
living in,
much.
okay, what if you're like just living in Brazil
Okay, Brazil.
and
There you go. Yeah, you can't get in trouble. I'm literally Brazilian now, and I'll say it.
yeah,
Yeah, it's rough. It's
okay,
rough.
so if you were living in Brazil, you only speak Portuguese, and you have a choice between continuing your schooling in Portuguese or taking time off to master English. I'd say that's easy to justify because learning English is going to bring you so many more opportunities that have the potential to change your whole life really positively.
And don't forget, you can actually become like a member of that society 100%.
Yeah, that too. And then, but then in the case of Japanese, like, is living and working in Japan your top priority in life? Because if it is, and we just grant that that's a given, like your top priority in life is living and working in Japanese, then maybe you could justify that in certain situations. But I'd say that that's really risky for a lot of people because if you haven't lived in Japan, then you don't really know if you're going to like it or not, and it's really easy to have a lot of ideas about what Japan's going to be like that aren't going to be accurate. And so I'd say really dedicating a large portion of your life just to that is a really risky gamble that I would say it's better to have a plan B when you're doing that.
Yeah. And then like just on your point, like about like no one really knows if they're going to like it, and I'm going to say that a lot of people who like look, I don't know, they look for like social acceptance or they really care about like the general
Yeah,
like
and most humans do. That's
opinion.
like
Yeah,
a
that's what I was gonna say.
human
They might
instinct.
have trouble with Japan because in my case, like I have a few close friends. I'm good. Friends and family. That's how I do it. Few close friends, family, and then I don't really like care too much like if people are like, oh, look at the gaijin, etc. And like that gets to certain people. Like I'm like totally like just like don't care at all. It's like, okay, well, you, like, I understand people, like, instantly it's like, oh, you guys are raised in certain ways. Like, it can't be helped. Like, you are what you are, and like, you look at me in that way, etc., etc. You're not gonna sit next to me on the train. Cool. I can, what do they call it? Man spread. I can man spread good. So you know what I'm saying? Like, but a lot of people have trouble with those aspects. I
Yeah,
feel.
I'd say most people would.
Yeah, most people do for sure. So I
Because,
mean,
yeah,
like,
it's just an instinct.
yeah, I can get annoyed, but I don't care at the end of the day. Like, or from experience, like living abroad, I didn't really care. But yeah, I'd say China, that doesn't really happen like at all. It'll be like
They're just chill with you.
Yeah, they're chill with you, but like I'm gonna get in trouble. I'm gonna get in trouble. But do you know how like there's like the notion that Japanese people are kind of, some Japanese people at least, or can be mildly repulsed by foreigners. Like some people are, right? Some older
Yeah,
people. Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, but I'm trying to be a little bit, I'm trying to be safe. I'm trying to stay safe here. So, well, it's more so the opposite. The foreigners in China, lots of foreign communities, because I've seen it, I've seen this like tons. They have that sort of sentiment towards Chinese people because they like shit in the like some people shit in the middle of a department store and stuff. And sometimes you can be like,
Wait, you mean Chinese people feel that way towards Chinese people?
no, no, I'm saying no. It's the opposite. Instead of like the in Japan, the local population feels that way towards the foreigners, but it's the foreign population in China can
Oh, I
kind of
see.
tend to feel that way towards Chinese, and it's not. I mean, you see it often. I'll be honest, but it's not like it wouldn't be like such a blanket thing where it is like where like some Japanese people be like, oh, all foreigners are blah blah blah, but in China it's more like some foreigners will be like, wow, there are quite a lot of like countryside folk in China who don't know like normal. I don't want to use the word civilized, but like more modern ways of living. Like they think it's like you shit anywhere, like your kid needs to piss, it's fine. And this literally happens, by the way. Even
Did
just
you
this
see
last
that
time,
personally? Have you
2000.
like
Oh
did
yeah,
you like
all the
see
time,
people just
all the
shitting in
time,
public?
all the time. Also, 2016. I'm not even joking. By the way, like if I go to grocery store every day, probably once a week, like in the third tier city, or no, third tier city. But even the first tier city, this last time in 2016, I went on a big trip to China, like like 8,000, or no, it was 8,000 kilometers, right? Like all around, like I'm not gonna. Nobody knows China anyway. So, but anyways, I went like really far. Like I did a really big loop around China, and when I was in Shanghai, I saw it, and I was like, wow. I think that was only like the fourth time I saw that in Shanghai. Fourth time, mind you.
Wait, so it's like
But
if
you
you're in like
see
a
it often in like the countryside areas, yeah.
if you're in
But
a grocery store and like a kid just like shits on the floor, then does like a worker at the grocery store have to clean it up?
yeah, at some point they'll come around. At some point, yeah, maybe like
Doesn't it smell really
a
bad?
couple hours later they might come around, clean it up. In Shanghai, they'll come and clean it right away, though. But I'm just being honest. Like, I don't feel any particular way towards it. I think it's fine. Like, it is what it is. Like, you know, societies, are where they're at, and then, like, I don't feel any particular way about it. I think it's kind of like charming in a way, which is, I'm not even joking when I say that. I think it's kind of charming in a way. It's like, whoa, man, kind of like it makes you understand like there's a different sort of mentality that people have before we like get all of these conveniences in life. You see what I'm saying? Like we have all these conveniences, and then we're like, I don't know, I don't know where that comes from exactly, but I think it might be connected. I'm not sure though. I'm not sure. I
Yeah, I
should
mean, it sounds
probably not
interesting.
go deeper because
I
I
haven't
don't. I have no
experienced it at
idea.
all, so I feel
Yeah.
like that's one of the things you have to experience to get.
Yeah. Like yeah. Or people like,
Man,
how
I'm
about
getting
this?
tired.
Like, yeah, I'm super tired. How about this? Like, I've seen on several occasions, like, should I be talking about this? I'm not sure. I think it's fine. Like, I'm not
I think
saying anything
it sounds
negative. Right?
interesting. Yeah.
It's interesting, right? So no, like on several occasions where I lived, like we have like we have this like courtyard. I guess you could say it's a courtyard, like surrounded by like a bunch of high rises, right? And I lived in one of those, so it's like a little community, like closed off community. On several occasions, I saw this guy who would literally just like string up like live animals and skin them outside, like just outside. Like it was pretty weird. It was pretty weird, and it was fine. People would just walk by and they'd be fine. They're like on several, or not several, but like on one occasion, I just saw a guy like talking with him, like just yeah, smoking cigarette, just fine. It's like, oh, this is normal. So it's a little bit like people can find like a little. There's a little bit of culture shock, which I think it's like way. That's why I like find China way more appealing. There's like so many unique experiences you can really like have. A lot of people would see them just as negatives, but I just see them as unique, and that's like a huge part of why like I'm so interested in China. You never know what the fuck is gonna come up when you go there, man. Like it just, but it's kind of bad because this last time when I went back in 2000, it's not bad, but like it's just changing so fast that you're losing like seeing like that part of China because it's just developing so quickly and like modernizing in like different ways, like cultural as well. You know, the government always like has a bunch of you know, I'm trying to choose words carefully here. They have a lot of like you know, promotional activities that they do to try to make sure that people know that they should like not spit everywhere, not shit in the
It's so
grocery
funny
stores and stuff.
that the government has to like get people on board with that.
I mean, it is what it is.
So,
You
like,
know,
what's the government's intention? Just to are they worried about how China's going to appear
they
to the rest of
always
the
like
world?
the sign is always like "文明社会." It's like "bunmei shakai." Like they have that, and they're like, oh, dude, when you go to the toilet, like there'll be like pee in front of the urinal everywhere, and they're like, I forget what it's like. I forget what they say. It's like "zai ibu wenming ibu." It's like take one more step towards the urinal. Take one more step towards civilization. I swear to God, it's all over the entire country. Take one more step toward the urinal. Take one more step towards civilization. It's fucking hilarious. I'm like, yeah, and like,
So, like, are the Chinese like government? So, are they mostly concerned how China's going to look to the rest of the world, or like how are they defining civilization to themselves?
well, I think they just want hygiene. Like, I think like a huge
Oh
subset of
yeah,
the
yeah, I guess
population
so.
understands hygiene now, and they would like to like probably get more people on board with it. I don't think it's really just about the opinion of. I don't think
Yeah, I know. I guess
China's
that's
like that
yeah,
at
no, that's
all.
a good point.
I think China is just trying to be
It's
better
just
for
about
itself.
hygiene.
Yeah, it's just about being better for China. It's not about like. I mean, like to a certain extent, it's like, well, it's kind of like haji okaku, right, in front of foreigners. Like you will
Yeah.
like embarrass yourself, like, or you know, some people might think that way that Dab yoga is hilarious. Thanks, bro. This is like unfettered yoga. This is a stand like this is the
Yeah,
real
this is like
yoga.
really close to how yoga actually is when we're just talking like with and he's not being filmed.
Yeah, I'm too tired to like. There's no like. I can't. What do you call it? I can't not censor myself. What do you call it? There's no I forget the word. Whatever. I can't restrain my like full personality as I sometimes do. I can't be as passive as I otherwise usually am. But anyways, what was I just talking about? What did I just say?
Why China was like that they don't China doesn't want to embarrass themselves to other people.
Yeah, but I don't like from my perspective, like I mean I mean there's definitely a huge sentiment of like let's not repeat the century of humiliation, but I don't think that's like the main like I think Chinese people are just they just want to do better for themselves. I'll say.
But like how do you define like for example, the hygiene stuff is pretty obvious,
Yeah.
but you were talking about cutting up an animal in public and stuff like that. So I know of
Well,
course to
that one's
us that
probably
seems
there's no signs about that one.
oh, I
That's
see.
probably all
So I'm
right.
just wondering, I understand there's certain stuff that would be very shocking to Westerners, but that's just because they have certain expectations,
Filtered. That's
right?
it. I have no filters. Thank you, fighting rabbits. Okay, go on. Sorry.
Yeah, so I get there's a lot of stuff that's shocking to Westerners because Westerners have certain expectations, and but I think a lot of what Westerners consider to be civilized is kind of arbitrary stuff, right? That is just
Yeah.
oh, this is how we do it, and if you don't do it like this, then you're barbaric. And so I was wondering on those things if China's trying to copy the West, that's it's interesting to think about what's their
I don't
motivation. If
think
you're just
so.
talking about hygiene, then that's pretty
I
obvious.
think
But
on a lot of fronts they're trying to do their own Chinese thing. Like definitely
so
on like the
where
social structure sort of front too.
so
Trying
where
to
do
do
you
their
see
own thing
China
with
in
it.
like 50 years then, once all the government policies have sunk in deeply?
Oh, I mean like oh you mean like just like general like popular mind you like don't forget about like artificial general intelligence is going to come out like and we definitely can't see what's going to happen after that. But say that never happened
But yeah, but I mean, like, there's
and
not going to be any shitting on the floor, right?
I don't think so. Or there probably still will be because like if you go to like villages, I there might
So
still
you
be.
don't think the Chinese government's going to be able to extend their reach all the way to the villages?
I don't know, man. There's some villages in China right now. I'm telling you,
So just like off the map?
there are some villages in China right now. I mean, I have no idea. I have no
Do
idea.
laws apply there?
Yeah, they do, but like
Do
villages
they have
be
police?
villages be cray, man. They are not.
Do they
They're a
have
different
police?
world. Of course, they have police. Why wouldn't they have
There's
police?
not just like a village like head honcho who like decides everything and like so
I mean,
there's
there
still
is a
like
head
civil.
honcho. It's called the
Okay, so they're still part of the system.
the like highest ranking person in the Communist Party up in that village. That's the head honcho.
Okay, so they're still part of the web of everything else.
Yeah, but
So
they're just
you don't think that they're
no.
you still
I'm
think
mostly
there
just
could be shitting on the
joking.
floor there?
I'm mostly just
Okay.
joking. But like 50 years, yeah. 30 years would be like pushing it, but like 20 years is definitely without a doubt. There'll be some villages
Yeah.
definitely still back in their own old ways.
Yeah, but
Because
I'm
I've
wondering.
seen like from my perspective, I've seen like 40-year-old people doing that, and I'm not sure they're gonna just like suddenly change their ways. So like I'm
Yeah,
thinking
true.
like 50 years. Some of them might still be alive, is what I'm thinking. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's
That's how
true.
I'm like thinking about it.
Yeah. Well, I was just wondering like how, Japan is mostly civilized, right? Yet they're still different from the United States, for example. So it's
Yeah, for sure.
interesting to think, well, what's China going to be like once it's civilized? How is it going to compare to the other civilized like countries? Like, what's going to be the same? What's going to be different?
I mean,
What flavor is it going to have?
a little bit more like totalitarian flavor, I'm sure. But besides that, I can't say. I could definitely go like one thing I can say for sure. If you're talking about the current China, 50 years later, then I would say like the one thing I can say for almost certain is that it's going to be at least slightly more totalitarian than Western society.
Yeah.
Pretty much beyond that, I don't know because we can't even guess like regular society 50, like even Western society 50
Well,
years
yeah,
from
that's
now.
true. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, that's true. It could be probably the United States as well, and Japan will be completely different in 50
yeah,
years.
I'd guess
I
like
mean, I think the
Japan will be
cultural
just like
differences.
one giant nursing home, for example.
Yeah, but I mean, in general, I think that the cultural differences between Japan and America are going to get smaller over time
Yeah,
because all the political movements that happen in America seem to happen in Japan, like with a 10 to 30 year time delay, and the time delays are getting shorter and shorter. It feels like so. I feel like
yeah.
eventually, yeah,
They have like I just saw like Japanese TV randomly like 2 months ago, and there was like the Me Too movement in Japan.
yeah, that
Yeah,
was a thing,
yeah, I
and
did
so
see that.
yeah, so I think that probably all the first world countries are going to get more and more on just the same page about politics and culture as we just get more connected. But it'll be interesting to see because I bet China's not, might be out of the loop on a lot of that. So
Out of the loop. Yeah, they're trying to go their own way with a lot of things, I think. But mostly, I don't think like societally, like a lot of the societal things, they're not trying to necessarily go a different way. It's mostly just like the structure, the government structure and the way societies are run. And I would say they have some things right, and they have a lot wrong, like any other country. But they have some things right, I think too. Not gonna go into those, but they have some things right.
yeah, it's
A
funny
lot of things
because
wrong. All right, go on.
a few months ago, like I don't really know that much about China.
Did
My
you
main
watch that?
information.
Did you watch that?
Oh no, I still have to.
You
I
should.
forgot about it. You
It's
just
good.
reminded me. No, I
Yeah,
would have
it's
watched it if I
good.
didn't forget about it. I'm gonna watch it. But it's this documentary about China that I downloaded because Yoga recommended it to me.
It's a century of revolution. Like it's one that I watched before going to China, and then I watched it like in China, and then yeah, it's pretty. I would say it's pretty good. Like if you want to just know about like China for the past 100 years or so.
Yeah, no, I'm
It's pretty
interested in
good.
that. Yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely want to watch it. But anyway, so my main information source of China has basically just been you, like talking to you. But a few months ago, I watched this Chinese drama, and in the drama, they made China look pretty much just like exactly the same as Korea and Japan. It's
Yeah,
like
they do.
sparkling. It
It's
took place in
nuts.
Shanghai. Yeah, and it was sparkling clean. Everyone was totally civilized. Everyone has a smartphone, and it was like just it made it seem like just a Chinese flavor of Korea, basically. And so
It's dude, it's so funny because like this is a conversation like expats have like about Chinese television. Like it's just like, but I think that's good. If you think about it, it should be that because they want to push like, hey, we're trying to be like
yeah, that's their goal, basically. It's like this
civilized,
is
so
what
let's
their
go
I
towards
yeah,
this.
it's our
Yeah,
ideal.
yeah. So it makes sense. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, it definitely
But
is a lot different when you actually get there. We should go travel there soon. We'll make a whole like blog series on it, guys, or vlog series. How's that?
yeah, it'll be good.
All right, we're new Patreon goal,
Get some Chinese in.
6,000 subscribers. No, I'm joking. Or 6,000 patrons. No, it'd be like a lot easier than that. Did you say you'd get some Chinese in?
Yeah.
That'd be cool. All right.
Okay, want to go to the next question? So wait, so Tkyo Sam, he just totally bailed?
He has not replied. It looks like he has bailed.
You should. I mean, at this point, it's already pretty late. We're probably gonna end this like
Yeah,
like within 20 minutes. So
yeah. I don't know what's
kind of had a
going on.
feeling that would happen.
Yeah.
That's
Papa,
funny. No,
hey.
we're not changing the name. This is the
It's
Papa
staying.
Tkyo
Yeah,
cast.
this is the Papa Tikio cast. Maybe next week will also be the Papa Tikio, or not next week. Next week. Good joke. Next whenever will be the Papa Tikio cast too. This is the Matt cast. This is pretty good. I okay. What's the next question?
Okay. Uh, Reisu asks, would you rather have perfect listening and speaking abilities, parenthesis, can understand spoken Japanese from any period and have higher levels of fluency than natives, but
Dude,
be
I was
illiterate?
totally reading this comment. I'm sorry. Can you read that all over again? I'm sorry. I apologize.
Yeah. Wait, did you want to make a comment first? Or
No, I was just reading this guy's comment. I don't
oh,
want
what
to.
do you write now? I want to read it. What do you say?
I mean, he just said people are obsessed with cell phones in China.
Oh, okay. Okay, you ready then?
Cool. Yeah, it's true.
Would you rather would you rather have perfect listening and speaking abilities, parenthesis, can understand spoken Japanese from any period and have higher levels of fluency than natives, but be illiterate, or be perfectly literate, parenthesis, can read Japanese text from any period, but cannot speak or understand spoken Japanese?
So like deaf, pretty much deaf mute,
I
or
guess so.
like
Well, you'd still
or
be able
blind.
to.
I mean, like you could see it that way. Like,
Yeah, but you'd still.
but I could still see and I could still hear, but I
Yeah, and
couldn't
you'd still know your
understand
native
anything.
language, probably.
Oh, like I see with my native language. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
he didn't specify that, but that was just my interpretation.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Of course. It would be just that. Like it's a
Yeah.
Japanese
Like,
person
would you
with
rather be like reading,
disabilities.
writing God or speaking God?
And would that be like with like the other part of my brain where I can improve the I can improve the other skill which is broken.
No, it sounds like this is your final state.
The final state. Oh man, I don't know.
That is kind of hard.
It's kind of hard because like as far as like I th- okay, let me go into it. I think reading there might be like more value there. Like to
Yeah, I feel
like
that.
totally like way more value in the realm of literature than there likely is in like modern popular culture. But realistically, do I live in Japan?
That's. I guess that's up to you.
If I lived in Japan, it still would be a huge handicap not to be able to read anything. Man, they both suck. Like, I guess I'd pick. If I lived in Japan, I'd pick to speak because that makes more sense because I need to communicate with people and being only able to read is just pretty freaking ridiculous as far as like carrying out your life. If I was in the West and I was never going to go to Japan, then probably reading because you can
Yeah,
actually extract more value.
yeah. I'd say this is pretty hard because reading. If you're going to view language as a tool, then I feel like being able to read and write Japanese at an infinite level would be a lot better because yeah, you can consume all the best literature ever written. Also, you can just read nonfiction books and understand them very accurately and quickly, right? Because you have god level reading ability. So I feel like as just an information consumption tool,
Yeah.
Japanese would be like really good. Whereas if you could only read and write, then your your
Not
options are
read and
kind of a
write.
lot
You
more
mean
limited.
speak and
Oh yeah,
listen?
sorry. If you can only listen and speak, yeah, sorry. Then it's like you got like anime and dramas and some stuff, but the quality of content that you're limited to is a lot worse, I feel like. But then again, you could be like a comedian in Japan and be like this gaijin who like learned Japanese and became literally better. You could be like the Dashan of like Japan. And so,
Nobody knows who Dashan is, by the way. Like, you have to like.
oh, Dashan is this Canadian guy who went to China a long time ago and he learned Chinese and he's like almost perfect in Chinese and
It's
he's now does
Dashan, by
like,
the way. But go on.
I see, Dashan. And he is like a stand-up comedian in China now and he's like super famous and every single Chinese person knows him. And he's pretty much the Gaijin's wet dream China version. So,
I wouldn't want to be that guy. I'm gonna put
really?
my.
Why not?
It's not me. That's why I'm good. I'm
I
good.
kind of want to be him, I'll be honest.
Yeah, you might want
That's
to
kind
be
of like
him.
what I always wanted.
That's yeah. I believe that. Like coming from you, that's not me. It's not me. I don't think I want to be like on TV, like doing the whole gig thing. Like
Yeah,
no,
well, realistically, that would
hell
make it
no.
really hard to live a normal life for sure.
I don't want that at all. I wouldn't
Except he
want that.
says that a lot of times. I heard an interview with him, and he was like, because there's this ongoing
Oh,
joke in China where if you see a foreigner who's
that's
really good
not
at
shit.
Chinese, you'll be like, oh yeah, your Chinese is really good, but not as good as Dashan, whatever, Dashan, whatever. But and he says that he even gets that. Like he'll be in a taxi, and then the taxi driver will be like, wow, your Chinese is really good, but not as good as
Yeah,
Dashan.
he has a bit on that.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know if that really happens, but if so, that's kind of funny. It means that they don't even recognize him anyway. So maybe you can't live a
Oh,
normal
I
life.
guarantee you that definitely happens. Without
Well,
doubt.
I heard that people think you're Dashan even if you're not, if you're
Yeah,
just
that's what I was
white.
gonna say. People just think you're Dashan. Like people, like I've seen that.
They
Like
thought you. They, did you
not
ever get
me,
that?
not me. Look at me. Come on, not
I don't
me.
know.
But like blonde, like guys, like they're like I've heard of that. Like I remember hearing about that when I was in China from people. Like, do you know Dashan? Like they would ask you if you know Dashan. Like, that was definitely a
Yeah, I've heard
thing.
about that.
Yeah,
That'd be funny. If you're
yeah,
like, yeah, I'm Dashan. Want me to sign your thing?
yeah.
$10, whatever. Like,
$10, yeah. Like literally, like a no. I'm joking. I was gonna say something bad. I won't. Um, but yeah, $10 is like that's like 60 kwai, man. That's expensive. Now 70 with the trade war. It's going up. Okay, cool. So yeah,
so I guess my final answer would be I'd probably go with the text, but
yeah.
it's stegatai. Speaking Billy's
But if you were
stegatai.
like, if you're living in Japan,
Then I'd probably go speaking for sure. That'd be
yeah,
better.
because it'd suck, dude. It would suck to
Well, if you had
not.
like amazing writing abilities, does that mean that you could like win a award-winning novel? Because if so, that could be pretty. Because I feel like Japanese people as a culture they value literature more than spoken arts, and so if you write a novel and you win the like Octagon Prize, you're like hailed as a demigod. So
But you can literally just publish from the West and just visit on occasion.
yeah,
That might be like the
so
enlightenment
maybe that
route.
would be it. Anyway, okay.
Okay.
Last question.
Oh, good.
I can't pronounce this name. It's like Russian or
Just go
something.
for it. You have to at least try.
Maximilian Zipklet Klet.
Perfect. All right. Cool. What did he? What did he say?
What is some of the most impressive slash ambitious modern Japanese you've ever heard? Which author slash speaker was the most articulate and
Tkyo's
razor
coming,
sharp
dude.
that you've heard? What? No way.
Yep.
Oh man, I'm like Kokoro no Junbi ga dekitanai.
Oh well, he's coming. He's joining in. Okay. Hold on
So
one
does this mean
second.
we're bagging the question? Well, you know we're late.
He no. He said he logged off of Discord on accident, and he was waiting. He's like, "What's going on?" He said.
Oh,
He
that's
said. He
unfortunate.
said, "Yeah, yeah. I believe it. I
No,
believe
no,
it.
no, I didn't mean to imply
Yeah."
that. I didn't mean
No,
to
I'm
imply that.
joking. He missed all the good shit. Come on, he's gonna. Oh, dude, I'm so tired. I am like
Same.
ridiculously tired right now. He he added my name. Wait, it's no, not my. There's no way he just added that. What is my real name? Oh, never mind. I can't even see it.
Can you hear my computer revving up?
Oh, there he goes. Yeah, there he goes. Okay, Sam. Oh, I gotta like zoom in on this. I can't see shit.
Wait, by the way, can you hear my computer revving up?
No, I can't hear your computer revving up, dude. I'm so tired. I can't even speak.
Okay, no, that's good. That means that my microphone is
Yeah, it's pretty
only picking
good.
up
It's
sound
legit.
in this
Okay, how do we
direction because my
add?
computer is
How do
taken
we
off
add
right now.
Sam Ebola?
Uh,
Fuck.
Wakaran.
Oh, here it is. Wait. I know. Hold on. I'm fucking around. That's why. All right, we're gonna add Sam to the call. Tkyo. Hey Sam, where's Sam? No, he's not here yet. He's coming. Is he coming on here?
I think you got to turn your video on.
Hey Sam, you missed like a lot of fun, man. Oh, I'm so
Cheyenne
tired
just sent
now.
me a really funny GIF of me from 5 seconds ago.
Oh,
I
cool.
should just post this in the chat.
You should. Not only should you, it's probably like something that's required of you. Oh, that's good. Is that when you heard that Sam's coming?
Yeah,
Oh,
and I was
my
trying to
video
wake
wasn't
myself
on
up.
too. Whoops. Is he coming here? He said, "Oh snap, yo, join the three-way, bro. It's fun." Man, I can't even type. Join the. Is he here? Hello.
I don't think he's in the call.
Well, we added him. Oh, he's coming now. Okay. Oh man, I'm already I'm exhausted at this point. Shit. Oh, there we go. Wrong camera, maybe? Hello, sir? I guess we're going a little bit late, man. We're going a little bit late this time. Can't hear you, by the way, Sam, in case you didn't know. Hello? Oh, but okay, let's keep talking until Sam, figures his shit out. Because I'm sure it will be just a moment. So, what was the last question?
It's what is the most impressive / ambitious modern Japanese you've ever heard? Which author / speaker was the most articulate and razor sharp that you've ever heard?
I haven't actually immersed in ages, but I would say that from it's actually heard. Does it include
Yeah, no, it's
reading?
like just I don't know. It doesn't. It just says
Okay,
heard. It doesn't
I guess I can just do both.
specify.
Like I saw the artistic value in Natsume Soseki and Kitagawa Ryunosuke, but as far as people who I just thought, wow, they're really smart. I didn't really think of it. Wow, their command of the language is really good. But I used to watch a lot of just Kogi just lectures and stuff. But I don't remember who the hell they were. So go on, Matt. I don't. That was ages ago. So
I don't know, man. I have to think about it.
all
I
right,
don't
Matt
really
will
know
get back
what
to
the
you.
question means.
Matt will get back to you on it. And now we're waiting for Sam's response. Hello. Should I
Oh, he's typing.
Oh, what'd it do?
Oh, okay. He's
Oh,
taking a
setting
shit.
up his shit.
I'm
Okay.
trying to think, in terms of written authors, who's the best at Japanese? I mean, what is it? Mishima Yukio?
Yeah,
So
Mishima.
tired.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm messing it
I'm
up.
tired and my
It's
memory's
Mishima Yukio,
years
right?
old. Yeah.
Yeah, Mishima Yukio probably all around best at
Uh,
Japanese. Um,
I don't think I ever read a Mishima
Most
Yukio
razor
book. Just a
sharp, probably
little bit.
Hiroyuki. If you watch his streams, he's pretty razor sharp, I think.
Who's that?
He's the guy who started 4chan. Or sorry, he
Oh
started
yeah, you
2chan
showed
and
me.
Nico
Yeah,
Nico
he
Doga.
seemed sharp. Yeah, you showed me like one. I watched like 10 minutes of a video. Like that's
Yeah.
what I'm basing it on. 10 minutes. But yeah, he sounded pretty dope. Cool. All right, we're done with the questions now. Now it's time for Papa Tkyo. Oh, no, we're not. Dude, I'm exhausted. How are you hanging in there, Matt?
I'm
At least you're
exhausted.
West Coast, though.
I know, but I go to bed like earlier than you probably.
Yeah, I think it's about the same like point in our bedtimes. It's just about the same point. Oh, whoa, whoa. Here we go. Hello?
Hey, can't hear
Hey!
you though.
Yeah, no, we can't, unfortunately. Can't.
Trying to read your lips, but
But it's 1 a.m.
Push to talk A.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, we got it. We got it. Alright, so I guess I'm the YogaCast
wait.
host, so I
So
should.
we should probably figure if he has to be pushing to talk the whole time. We probably want to fix that.
Do you want to change it to not push the talk, Sam? It's Sam's choice. Perhaps he likes that
Oh, I see.
because then we can't hear like
Yeah, you change in the
grunting
Discord
or
settings.
anything in the
You have to.
background.
Testicles. 1, 2,
I hear
3.
you.
Yeah, we
hear
can
you.
hear you.
Okay. Uh
Okay.
huh.
Oh, there we go. Cool. So,
Okay.
welcome to the YogaCast, man. This is where it's at. We have 23 people watching because it's 112. But Sam, thank you for being our patron, and thank you for introducing so many people to immersion learning. Like I watched you back in the day in like 2008. So
Hey guys, thanks for having me on. Sorry for just being fucking just irresponsibly old guy, etc. Anyway, yeah, good to finally be on the yoga podcast. I have a lot of things on my bucket list, and this was definitely one of them. Being on here of all my hot sons, and
you get in front
seeing
of all
your wonderful
these
videos.
eyes, man. All 24 people.
Oh, those are 24 people that matter. So.
There you go.
Don't be dissing the numbers, bro. It's not the quantity, it's the quality. Fuck this webcam. Oh, come on. This is what you get when you hit your webcam. Okay. Anyway, yeah, guys, welcome to Japan. I hope you like it. We've got yellow curtains here. Yeah, buddy.
Dude, I'm so okay. I'm so tired. Cool. Yeah, man. So, well.
Just gotta wait for that second wind to come.
Yeah, I know. I should go grab another can of Coke.
Yeah, you guys should go do a drink break before we start it. Come on, guys. Let's get hydrated, bro. Get hydrated, guys.
I'm gonna just do water though. I can't do more caffeine, man. I can't do it.
Get
All right.
hydrated.
Well, I don't want to seem artificial, so I don't want to, just bring up like a topic that I was just talking about the other day was my wife. I found my wife randomly watching a Raka Raka video. And she knows about you because I talked to her about you before, and then I just showed her that you were in those videos, and she couldn't believe it. She's like, "What? Can Sam's in these videos?" And I was like, "Yep."
Yeah, fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah,
and then
she
Papa
couldn't believe
Tkyo
it.
gets around. What can I say?
Yeah. She was surprised by that. I was like, "Yeah," but yeah, they have some crazy videos, man. We were looking through them together the other day. How was that? How was the whole like California thing?
Oh, it was great. It was fun. Definitely a interesting experience. Hey, like it's literally YouTube boot camp when you're around these big stars. They really, they either make or break you, and it's either you go with the flow or you go home. And it was great. It was fun.
Yeah, they
I
look
don't know.
like they go
Meeting
pretty
porn
hard.
stars and Logan Paul and shit. It's pretty fun. Pretty cool.
Did you like get used to that? Like watching it seems so crazy. Just knowing that I've talked to you before, and then you're with these super famous people. So I feel like I would not be able to just keep my cool. But did that get pretty normal?
Yeah. Well, no. I mean, like the thing is just like I don't know. Like one of the things you guys. I don't know. This sounds like how can I make this sound like I'm not trying to be like Okay, like just to put it simply, like I'm not like a dangerous guy. I've not been in like a lot of danger in my life, but I did grow up around criminals and stuff and like kind of really bad people. And one of the things that you notice when you're around these bad people is that you never show that like you never show your emotions, you never show that you're surprised even if you are. Just keep it down there. People don't like it when like in movies it's okay if you show your emotions, but it's like if you're in real life you're like, "Oh my god, I watched you for like 2 years and just how was your parent?" You know, it's like you can't act like that. You got to be like, "Oh, cool," you know, like, hey, like you got to act like you got better stuff going on, and they won't be like, they won't be threatened. They're like, "Oh, this guy looks like he has his shit together," and like this is just another day in the life for him. And like you got to do it like that. If you think about it like that, then you're fine. And then they're like, if you don't freak them out, then they're totally okay with it. So it's like you just got to be cool. Don't be gay. I mean, be gay, but don't be gay. I mean, like you can be gay, but don't.
We're off YouTube right
everyone's
now.
gonna.
No, I'm joking. Go on.
I forgot this is America 2019. They're gonna be like, he hates gay people. It's like, fuck you, my gay. You know, it's like then I have to write down every justification for what. No, I didn't mean it like that. See, I know plenty of gay people. No, I just mean don't be. Just hold back. Hold back. You know, you don't need to show your true feelings. You know.
How like the impression that I get even watching their blogs is that they go fucking hard as hell like all the time. Is that all the time, or are there like spurts of like peace like in calm, or is it just like pretty much like
Oh yeah,
revving
there's
like the
always a little
engine
bit
like?
of calm. Well, it's like just think of it as pro wrestling. You know, pro wrestling would suck if people acted like normal people. Like, oh hey Bob, hey, did you talk shit about my wife? No, you sure? Okay, well I gotta fight you now. It's like no, you gotta. It's when
That
you
might be kind of
act.
funny though.
You angsty teenage emo wrestling. No, but I mean, like it's just like professional wrestling. One of the best things about it is that it's over the top
Yeah.
and everything. So whenever they do stuff, I remember like one of the guys just threw himself down a thing of stairs, and we were like, we weren't recording. He's like, "Oh, you weren't recording that?" Oh, I was like, "Well, dude, like, kind of just did it. You didn't tell us yet."
So yeah, I mean, like
Hydration.
how many of those events happen? Is it like a daily? Is it? Do they go like?
Is this podcast just going to be all about me talking about Raka Raka? Or
No,
what
we
are
have some
talking about?
questions. I'm just curious. So they like, but they're pretty crazy, huh? They go hard.
They are some fun individuals. Actually, if you guys want to know more about them on like a more personal level, I suggest sign up for their Patreon. They have a patreon.com/rockarocka, and they post a lot of behind the scenes footage, and it's more personal. And the cool thing is that nobody on their Patreon realizes that these guys do a live stream like maybe once or twice a week. So if you wanted to ask these questions like you're asking me right now, if you join their live stream, they'll answer every question you got. It's pretty cool. So just keep that in mind.
Depending on the dollar amount that we're patroning, I'm sure they'll probably answer all of them. But yeah,
I think it's like only like $1 or $5. You know, I mean, like hell, I remember I paid. Whenever I want to talk to somebody, like here's a little life hack for you guys out there. Whenever you want to talk to somebody who's like really famous or YouTube famous, just join their Patreon or join their Twitch. Like Rachel and Jun on YouTube, they have like over 1 million plus subscribers, but like on Twitch they only have like less than 100 people watching each one of their streams. So if you go there and you talk to them, you'll be able to pick their brains right then and there for free. You know, you just had to join their other social media. Same thing with like when I wanted to talk to Vegan Gains, that guy had like
Vegan Gains.
for a couple.
I've heard of Vegan Gains.
I love Vegan Gains. He's a hilarious. I love him. He's just like he's crazy, but also he's very logical at the same time. He's an enigma. But I joined his Patreon for like $2, and I was like I could talk to him like directly. I was like that was so cool. So just if you want to ever meet somebody, just shut up and put up the money. That's
Yeah.
all.
Go ahead, Matt. Get the Dogen collab going, bro. Put up the money.
Yeah, I was thinking that's probably a good idea for if you're a YouTuber and you wanted to collaborate too.
I was friends with Dogen for a while on Facebook. I don't know what happened. He unfriended me. I think it's just because I'm too cool. He's just like I can't be friends with the cool kids anymore. It's like okay.
Yeah.
I don't know the
Yeah.
feeling, but yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
There was just a
What?
question the other day on like my Q&A, like, are you gonna do a collaboration with Dogen? I think people like put us in the same category because we both talk about Japanese and pitch accent and stuff. So
Yeah, but the thing is that I've heard well, I don't want to talk shit because Dogen's actually a really nice guy. In fact, I found out about Dogen when Roger Swan died because Dogen and him went to the same school, and they both joined Jet afterwards. But Dogen wrote this really nice, kind of sappy, like memoir slash blog post for him, and then Dogen was doing all these like weird gymnastics like blogs that no one was watching or like caring about, and so then he started YouTube, and the guy's crazy, man. He's making like 4-6 grand a month just off of Patreon,
Yeah,
like fuck. And then, yeah, I mean, like, but the thing is that I've seen videos where he was like, for example, my buddy Drift on her elbow when they were out like at a university or something, and he's with Dogen, and then like and in the video like Dogen speaks normally, like he's got no script, and it seems like a lot of people are kind of like like what are you saying, and I'm like, you motherfucker, how do you like I bet he speaks good Japanese, but I'm just saying, like, I think he puts up, like, I put up a bit of a facade of being like a big fucking wonky, oh my god, you look at this Hakujin and the Nippon's character, but I feel like your Japanese, your Jitsuroku tekina Nihongo is, I think Matt's a little bit better, or maybe a lot better than Dogen, but since Dogen has the cool marketing of like being able to script and plan things out, he can make himself look a lot better than in reality that he actually is. I don't know. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
Because my Japanese sucks. My Japanese isn't that good, but at least I put it in the video because I want people to see that it's like the number one thing is communicating, not being perfect. Just get it out there, try it,
Now that this is like a kind of a good segue, that I didn't want to like, I wanted to like ask you about what's been going on with you and like what you've been up to and stuff, because I mean I used to watch your videos like a lot more before, but now I'm just real busy, like we're doing a lot of projects and stuff, but now that we're like on the language topic, this is a good segue into like a question I wanted to ask you. So how do you feel about like language learning nowadays? Because we both have like found that our sentiments towards it have changed like quite a lot over the years. What would you say? Like just
Well, I
the
mean,
act of
like,
improving in a language.
If anything, well, I mean, wait, so you're just talking about like language learning in general, or like you mean like resource wise or something, or
It
what
could
are
be
you
like
talking
just
about?
the idea, like
Kinda
for
like
me, like the idea of just always seeking to maintain, always seeking to improve the language. It's just like I just want to try to do something else. Like I got to that point. Like for example, I did languages for a long time, and then I like moved on to code because I was I was okay. Like it was time to move on.
Well,
It's
it's
like
just I guess
felt
when
that way.
it comes down to like what's your goal,
Yeah.
I mean, for me it was just like I the thing that people don't understand is like when you start something, your goals change throughout like the process, throughout the journey. So it's like you might have started with this one goal in mind, but now like after a year or two it might change to something else, like you know like when I joined karate class here, I just thought it would be a cool like way to develop spiritually and get to know some Japanese friends on a non-foreigner like English related basis. But at the end of it, I just wanted to hit people. Like I was just like I would go there just for sparring. I was just like, oh, finally. I was like, oh, I finally get to punch somebody. It's so good. But then I realized that I don't want to pay money just to do that. Like if the sparring's only 15 minutes, I always wanted more, and I'm like, fuck cleaning the dojo. This is bullshit. The guy's making $100 per student. There's no fun. It's all services, non-taxable. Fuck that guy.
And you're cleaning his dojo for him too. Shit.
Yeah, karate. Yeah, fuck karate shit, man. Like karate is bullshit. Like never. You want? I don't know. Don't waste your time. Like join MMA or jujitsu or something where you could
boxing or
actually
something.
learn how to fucking break somebody's arm. But anyway, I mean, like with language learning though, it's just like I guess there's two things. It's like my shit and then the current state of language learning, and I think more than ever, like anybody who wants to learn a language, it's so much better than it was when I met cats like 12 years ago or something, and like back then, like nobody knew about this immersion stuff or anything. Like there was a tiny group on the Anti-Moon website or whatever, but like for the most part, everyone's like Pimsleur and Japanese language schools and all this bullshit. And I mean, right now, one of my part-time jobs is teaching foreigners Japanese. That's one of my part-time jobs here in Tokyo, and I find it so ironic because I'm like, why don't you just have a Japanese teacher teach? And they're like, yeah, they want us to learn like elementary school shit and stuff, and like, I don't know, it's just you learned it quickly, so we trust you. Can you just teach us? I was like, well, okay, okay,
Sam,
fine. It's this much per hour.
when did you start learning Japanese? Like, when was it exactly?
I think it was like 6 months into living here. Like I was just tired of
Like, what
not
year?
knowing Japanese. I think 2007. I think.
Oh, okay, so a couple years. Yeah, because I started in 2009. I was just curious when you started.
Well, I mean, the cool thing is, I mean, like overall, I don't want to ramble on, but it's just the fact is that you guys have so many sources right now to learn a language that it's so much easier. And I mean, I think the only thing that people might have like a downside at is that there's so many options that it's a little bit overwhelming. But for
Yeah.
me, it's like I didn't believe Cats until I got to hang out with him, and then I saw that he was so good that I was like, "Oh shit, okay, boom, you sold me. You had me at hello. I'm doing this." And so, that's the thing that. But anyway, I mean, like I just found out. Well, for example, I have a friend named Dan, and he's this giant, fucking huge black guy. He would, like when you think of like scared rape fantasies, that's the guy that's there. It's like, oh god, honey, oh my god, like, just, why? I thought you loved me. Anyway, Dan is this giant, muscular, scary black man, but the one thing that we talk about almost like every week is that language learning, because he's actually friends with Katz's girlfriend. So we're always kind of talking back and forth and back and forth. And he was telling me every time we talk about some way that we've improved our language skills or whatever. And he told me recently that there's that guy, Steve Kaufman, I think his name is. And he has that website linked, I think.
Yeah, Linked.
I don't. And he like Dan's like, nobody knows about this, like, because Dan's been paying for his website since the guy started. Like, he loves the website. But anyway, he said that there's an add-on for Chrome now where like you can go to any any page, like, Hulu, Amazon Prime, Netflix, and then you'll be watching an episode and you use the add-on and it will download the whole script of the whole fucking show and then put it into like a card or like a web page or something for you, so you can go back and review the script afterwards. And I'm like, oh my god, that's so cool. Oh, it's like Vegeta and Broly. Oh my god, that's so fucking cool. It's like, wow. But anyway, I'm just saying, like, resources like that, there's so many now that you can use that, like, I used to have to manually input, and like have to search online forever for. You can just do it with a click of the button and like boom. So it just anyway, I'm saying you guys are way more spoiled than it was for me, and I was even more spoiled than I guess our parents that didn't have internet back in the day. So.
But in my case, like, I'm right there with you. Like, I had about 5% subtitle content, for example, like when I learned it. So I was like right after you, 2009, like right when like I saw AJAT and stuff. I mean, I learned about immersion learning from various sources, but like AJAT was definitely one of them. And I mean, my main reason, like you said, like you didn't really believe in immersion learning until you saw Cats, and you're like, oh, this is like for sure. Well, you probably don't know my story, but I actually moved to America when I was 8 or 9, like close to 9, and then I learned English through immersion, so therefore, like, I have that experience. So I kind of already knew like immersion is the way to learn a language like very well. So then it was just more of a matter of like, oh, figuring out what people are saying about it and like how to do it like as an adult, etc. So that's something that I applied later. But yeah, I didn't have any tools. Like when Matt started was when the tools were like getting better.
Yeah.
I didn't
If we're
have
talking about
anything.
Japanese in particular, I definitely had a few good tools that Yoga didn't have. But definitely, even it's already gotten way better from when I was learning Japanese. So
Yeah, I mean, we actually work on tools. I don't know if you know that, but like we actually work on some of the tools. Like that's kind of what I've been doing now, just making tools for the Patreon and stuff. So I don't know if you got a chance. If do you are you still like studying through Anki and stuff nowadays?
Um, Yeah, well, I am, and on a separate. Oh, before I jump into that, actually, a
Okay.
funny thing is that you know the add-on Rikai-kun, right? Or
Mm-hmm.
Rikai-chan for Mozilla. Originally, it was only Rikai-chan.
Yeah.
Rikai-kun, um,
Chrome.
for Google Chrome is made by a guy called Eric Speed, and I met him originally at the same youth hostel I was staying at, and so I know the guy who made the add-on that makes it so much easier for you guys to. I don't know. It's just like, oh, small world. Let me just spring. Let me just. let me just name drop that really quick. Pick up that name. Drop that name really quick. Yeah, I think that well, right now, what I do for my language learning is um, well, to be honest, like since I'm at home a lot of the time, like when I'm not working, I don't know. I live with a guy who's a very sexy man named Mark. He's like Darth Vader. If Darth Vader was like fucking otaku chicks all the time, that's what he is like. Ain't that right, Mark?
That's pretty funny.
He's still sleeping. Anyway, but what is it? Shit, I lost my train of thought because he did. Mark, he's still sleeping. It's 2 p.m. Wake up. What is it?
What you're gonna
Shit,
do
what
is
was the
study
question?
Japanese.
Yeah, how you're
Oh yeah,
studying
studying
Japanese
Japanese. Oh
nowadays.
yeah, so I mean, what I do recently is just I've been I don't know. I always think of it as like there's the meat and potatoes, and then there's the spice. So I think like, what's your main dish? What are you doing most of the time? And so I still stick to flashcards. I have 2 decks. I don't like to keep them. I don't like to spread them out. I mean, like I've tried many different things over the years, but one of the things that I really enjoy is just I always tell people, don't download other people's decks. Make your own. You're lazy. I don't know. For me, I'm like, if I have that emotional and time investment into a deck, I'm gonna remember it a lot better than if it was just somebody else's shit. So, but what is it? I have 2 main decks. One's just kanji deck, and the other one's are a word deck. I guess I have the kanji one, but I haven't reviewed that in forever. I've got, I guess on Sarusu, when I was still using Sarusu.com, I have my kanji deck, but on Anki, I have my word and my sentence deck. And it's simple. All I do is just I word mine all the time. So like right now, before I came on here, I was watching Netflix. I've been watching a lot of anime recently, so I'll watch these with subtitles, Japanese subtitles, and like especially if it's like JoJo or something. Anytime I see a word I don't know, I just write it down in a little memo pad, and I have like a list of like 1,000+ words, and I categorize them by what anime or what show I've been watching, and then I'll slowly just go onto Weblio or like what is it? Yeah, Weblio or Goo or whatever, and then I'll just find an example sentence and just copy and paste that into Anki, and then I just review them when I'm on the train or whatever. But mostly it's just been listening immersion right now. Like I just surround myself because I realize there's so many anime that I never got to watch. Like I'm watching Lucky Star because I never got to see that before, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, fucking otaku jisms." So I was like, "Okay, I'll check it out." But yeah, I mean, like I just got done watching Mob Psycho season 2, and I don't know, it's cool. Like I watched yesterday. I binged through all of The Boys, the dub of The Boys, and like I don't know, when you see a new series, it's always better to watch the dub if you can. Like anyway, so I just been doing flashcards and listening immersion, and of course when I go out, I try to have as many deep conversations as I can. It's fun.
Like you said, you're using like Weblio, etc., and stuff, and what else, Goo and stuff to look things up. I mean, there's something really interesting we're working on like next month. I can send you a copy of it, and you can see. I think it'll like help out the work, like the workflow there. Little
Okay, cool. Yeah,
little
just message
something.
me. You got my
Yeah,
Discord,
yeah. I think you'll like it.
Call me,
Yeah.
baby.
Okay, I will. I think you'll like it. Yeah, we're gonna be releasing something new next month that should really help with a lot of those lookups. So cool, cool. So Matt. Ask him the question about the European languages and and the Asian languages. I'm curious how he would
Okay.
go with it.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if I'm remembering it correctly, but this was like
Just
a
make it up as
question
you
that,
go, man.
yeah. we talk about like as language learning nerds. But if you could, what was one version of it? If you could be like 100% perfect at
Native. Not
Japanese,
100% perfect, just like you can get native level. Like
yeah, you're
like
like as good
college
as
educated native level.
yeah. So I mean, yeah, you're basically like a native speaker, or you could know like 3 or 4 European languages. Perfect. Like, you get French, Italian,
At
Spanish, like
at the
German.
same native level.
Yeah. Which one of those
Would you choose, Sam?
would you take?
Oh, I'd do the European ones definitely.
Yeah. So the question is, how many European languages would it take before you would like say for your whole life you could only know either those this subset of European languages, or you can know Japanese, which I know like we're more
I
attached
can
to.
only choose those,
Yeah.
or for the rest of my life. Oh
Yeah.
no, I'd
How
still
many
do
European?
Japanese.
How many? Is
No,
there a number of
it
European
doesn't.
languages that would sway you? Is there a
No, because
number?
I'm not interested.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in Europe or living in Europe. Like, if you were like, I mean, the whole thing is like you gotta like. I've always been interested in learning Spanish and French, and a little bit of German, but when it comes down to it, it's just like, where do you want to live? What do you want to do? Like for me, like I've become so much more racist towards China since coming to Japan. Like I'm a very once you move to Asia, you realize like what the what is it, Seikai no Tachiba like is for the standing for all these different Asian countries. Japan's at the top, maybe South Korea. Well, I mean
China's at the
China
top,
economically
kinda.
is at the top, but China cheats. They poison their people. They cheat on the numbers. They kill American spies all the time. Like they're
I
just.
lived in China
I
for three and
really.
a half years. I don't know if you know that, but just so you know.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Uh,
Yeah. How was it?
we were just talking about it earlier. I mean, I don't want to go too far into it again, but I mean, I was saying, there are a lot of there are a lot of positives. There are a lot of negatives. There's a lot of stuff going on there, but I did mention like earlier about like some hygiene problems, etc., that people have at times.
I just. Well, I mean, the thing I was
But
like so torn because like
but
for a long time I wanted to learn Cantonese, but then I went to Hong Kong, and everyone speaks English, and then I realized it's just kind of like a losing battle at that point because, like why go all the way out and do this stuff if like you can only speak to a fraction amount of people? And then I was like, okay, well I'll learn Chinese, like Mandarin, and then I'm like, well their government sucks, and I don't think I'd ever want to live there long term, especially just in general. So I don't know. But I mean, like, if I could choose like another language that I want to learn, that's Asian or whatever, I'd probably pick Korean and then Chinese, Mandarin. But that would only be for business purposes, pretty much.
have you been to mainland China?
I've been to Taiwan and I've been to Hong Kong, but I
Okay.
have, thanks to YouTube, I have so many friends that live in China
Yeah.
that I'm able to. I accept their opinion.
Yeah.
More like Serpent ZA and
Yeah.
Lao Y86 and stuff.
Yeah.
I really,
I've watched
yeah,
some of their videos too before.
they're awesome dudes, man. They're cool dudes.
I mean,
But anyway, I'm
it-
just saying, if I could
Go on.
choose a language, I would stay. That's the thing. I think you guys, like in the language learning circuit, like whatever you call your world of the internet, like I think that's one thing that you guys maybe like stress a little too much about perfection. I think that trying to become native level at anything is good, but at the same time, you can't forget that it's like what's more important. Like, do you want to be functional or do you want to be like what's your overall goal of this? Like, what do you want people to think is your like? What do you want at the end of the day? Like, what do you want to get out of it? And for me, it was like at first I came here and I was like, I want to be me Tomitud. Like I want you to love me and think that I'm Japanese and Nipponjin too. And then I don't know, I got to the point where it's like if you live outside of Tokyo and you're part of the community and they know you, they're gonna let you into the group no matter what language level you speak. But if you want to be a politician or somebody like or a lawyer or something who's like speech really your speech level really matters, then yeah, being native level is important. But at the end of the day, it's like, can I communicate? Can I get it over? Like, can I get out of any situation by talking? Can I understand a majority of what people speak? That's fine. Like, I'm going for not moderation, but just like consistency over perfection. And I think a lot of people get caught up with like yesterday I was talking to Dan and he's like, The pitch accent. I'm so worried about my pitch accent. I went out with two Japanese people to an izakaya the other day, and they were like, and I hadn't seen them for like maybe a year or two, and they're like, they're like, Samu, what the fuck did they say? They're like, fuck, I'm trying to remember verbatim what they said, but basically they were like, when it comes to Japanese, Sam, probably the best thing about you is that your accent. Sama no Nihongo no hatsuon ga umai ichiban. But god damn it, I can't remember what they fucking said verbatim. But basically, yeah, they were like, your accent is great compared to a lot of other foreigners, and I'm like, I have never once practiced my accents. I never practiced it. I just watch a lot of anime and just copy it. It's not that hard. But I think like a lot of people will like to emphasize and focus on a lot of stuff that should be the spice when it's really just focus on. I mean, like if you're studying a language, accent is very important, but that's not the main. That's not the main dish. I think the main dish should be word acquisition. You learn. If you study flashcards and words, like, for 10,000 words and you study all those reps, like 50,000 times or whatever, people perceive you as smart when you have a better vocabulary. And if you have a better vocabulary, like if you're studying words, especially if you're doing the AJAT method where you're learning the word usage through sentences, you're eventually going to get better at grammar just by doing all those flashcards so much. But then again, that's just my opinion. I could be wrong, but
I think we all agree, Sam. I think we all agree.
No, I mean, I think over time we've been. I mean,
I was never like him. Like to begin with,
I mean,
I was
more
always
and more as time goes on.
85% accent, like vocabulary acquisition. So like we're right on point, like as far as what you're saying.
Yeah,
but
well,
I did develop a pitch accent add-on for Anki, but that's another note because I figure it's not worse to have more information, right? I never studied pitch accent either, and I'm not studying it right now because I can't be bothered with it either. So I definitely understand. I agree with that perspective as well.
But, okay, well, I mean, I'm happy that we can agree. Yeah.
And even Matt,
well, I mean,
tell him.
Well, I think over time I've moved less and less away from that obsession with perfection. And it mostly just comes down to the diminishing returns, right? Like going from 0 to like 85% perfection takes the same amount of time as going from like 85 to 90. And then by the time you get to like 80, 98 to 99, it takes just as long as all the time you put up until that point. And so at the opportunity cost, it comes to the point where it's like, well, what do you actually want to do with your life? Because, okay, if you're like 80 years old and you reach perfect Japanese, what was the point of all that? But in hindsight, I really think it was really Katsumoto and AJAT that kind of gave me this disease of expecting that perfection was the standard and viewing language learning as an end in itself. Like that the goal was just to be this master and then I will have beat the game, even though I had no clue what I actually wanted to do with that ability. And so it's been taking me a long time to try to heal myself from this like deep ideology I internalized when I was a teenager.
I don't think that there's anything wrong with the ideology that he said when you think about it like that. I mean, like, when you think about it, it's like a stern parent that's teaching you. There's nothing wrong with being held to a higher standard than what you think you're capable of, because that's one of the best ways that you grow is through stern, kind of like kyoiku like that, And I think that with cats, it's like I talked to my friend Dan, who talks to Katz's girlfriend currently, and she's always talking about how Katz is a big perfectionist, and that if she says something that like, oh, Katz, you got that accent wrong or something, he'll be like, oh fuck, and then he'll spend all day working on that. So Katz is a little bit fucked up in the head with that, but at the same time, like he's like a millionaire now, probably after selling all that stuff. So, the only thing that he has to focus on really is just his language ability,
If you do want to give us a bit of cat scoop, you can do it right here live on the YogaCast if you'd like.
Well,
what
that you say he's probably a millionaire by now, because if you're, I mean, me and Yoga have spent some time thinking about this, but if you're talking about like the Silver Spoon programs, I'm really curious about that, because on one hand, if you actually read the advertisements, it looked pretty shady on the surface. Like if you were visiting the site for the first time and you're just reading what he wrote about it, it seems really fishy, and it seems like a lot of people ask for refunds and stuff. But did he actually end up making a ton of money?
So what happened is that I don't know why he changed the website now to what it is. I don't like his website was so much more linear and easy to use before he changed it to this whole fucking shitty. Like he didn't delete, but he hid a lot of his stuff. Like
Yeah.
the table of contents, you have to Google that now. You can't find it through his website, and it's all just like navigatable bullshit. We used to talk about it. I mean, like this is a guy who I spent almost like like I would finish my ALT job and then I'd drive over to his apartment and I'd hang out for like the rest of the night. And I did that for like a whole year pretty much. And so I don't know. The thing is like with cats is that like you guys got to remember this is the one thing that I really kind of get disappointed about my YouTube subscribers. Take in mind the Tkyo Sam fam, you boys are the best thing that's ever happened to me. It was a mistake, it was an accident, and your mom doesn't call anymore. But you know, the whole point is I'm happy that you boys were here. You boys and lovely girls were here because of the whole whatever. But Katz is a guy who he has this philosophy that it's like, look, you don't need to go to college to be a master or expert at anything. If you read 200 books on finance, you're a pretty good fucking expert on finance, you know? And so Katz was always reading. He was always reading books. And one of the books that he liked to read was like on how to grow a business, but also how to build a cult and stuff too. He only read like one or two of those books, but he found them fascinating and stuff like that. But also like site navigation. Like I remember we had a talk one time about IKEA and how IKEA is not set up like a normal shop because you have to walk through the whole shop in order to get out, and that forces people that like want to see shit to buy stuff. So I think that's why he set up his website the way it is now. But no, the thing is that when Katz's website was more navigatable, he had a lot of people that started with Silver Spoon, and then the thing is that for those loyal customers, he would then offer special services that other people didn't know about. And so, because the thing is, like, when you have, like, even me, like, just the other, I won't say how much of a number, but I added up the donations on Streamlabs. You know, when you do a live stream, you can see how much somebody has donated over a year. And this one guy donated a lot more money than I thought he had, and that he had donated. And it just goes to show that you could have 1,000 people looking at your stuff, and if you get one or three of those that are willing to spend a couple grand or more, like that's all that really matters. And so Katz had, I think, thanks to my advertising and then other people's advertising too, like he just, yeah, I'm pretty sure he's a millionaire. He got a lot of money, and I the people who are like, oh, I didn't get a refund or whatever, that's bullshit. Like I looked at the numbers when I was talking to Dan, and like there was maybe like less than 20 people overall, like probably less than 10 that asked for refunds. The thing is just like when you're as big as that, you're always going to have people talking shit. Like the thing is like you can talk as much shit as you want, but where's your face, huh? Like put your face and your identity where your opinion is. And most of the time those people that were like, just I'm an anonymous person and blah 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 blah, this person hurt me, didn't give me a refund. I'm like, yeah, well, tell us your whole situation, show us your face, let's see what you did.
Do you know what he's doing nowadays?
He's just chilling, I think. Right now he's back in well, he jumps all over the place. He's like Carmen Sandiego. He'd be in Okinawa, then Tokyo, then Vancouver, and then I think he's in Africa right now. I think he's in Kenya with his girlfriend. And he's just hanging out, and it made me so angry, Matt, when he got in contact with you and he was asking you about all the stuff you were doing, and then he supposedly makes his own Patreon. I'm like, dude, that's so slimy, Katz. Like, Katz is like, I owe all my Japanese language level to him, but I'm just like, Katz, like, come on, dude. You can't get angry at Matt for picking up the fucking torch on that shit. Like, when you dropped it, motherfucker, like, you dropped it and you left it there for like 10 years. Somebody else came and picked it up. And now you're like, oh, they're getting money off of my method. It's like, motherfucker, you throw away your business building, someone's going to move in eventually. Yeah, I think but anyway, that's the thing, guys. If you like, you can either sell to small people, which you're always Tim Ferriss talks about this in his 4-hour work week. It's like you can sell to small people for small peanuts that complain the most that you don't get. It's like the 80-20 rule. You can
I read that book.
Don't spend that time. Spend 80% of your time on the 20% that actually spend the most money. And so anyway, I'm saying for you guys, when you actually get like to a point where you feel comfortable, feel free to sell big stuff. Like I make people spend $500 for a tour here in Japan, and people have gladly paid that. I've gotten at least like 10 customers over the course of maybe like a year or two, and those are repeat customers. They'll come here and they have money. Like I don't feel guilty about it because it's like you can
They're
hang out
just
with me,
chilling.
you
Yeah.
get. Yeah, I'm like, well, anyway, I'm just saying, hold yourself to a higher standard, and there will people that will start fucking treating you like that. But anyway, I was just saying overall with the whole Tkyo Sam fam is that I was so disappointed on one of my live streams when a lot of people told me they don't read books, and I'm like, if you read Facebook and SNS and blogs, you're already reading so much per day. Read a fucking book. Just read a book. It's more concentrated. It has more information in it. You'll grow better as a person. And if you're too lazy, listen to an audiobook. Just do it.
Yeah, that's definitely true. We were actually just talking about that earlier because someone asked us a question if we could have like the what was it like perfect speaking and listening ability. Would we take that or perfect like reading and writing ability? And we both chose realistically writing and reading
Yeah.
because of like that's how you can actually consume information.
But I mean, I can see why there's people like that who never read books because definitely takes a lot more energy and concentration to sit down and read a book. It's less stimulating. And so if you're used to things like Twitter that are just constantly giving you those dopamine boosts and you've never read a book in the last 5 years, then it's when you're going to sit down and start looking at the pages, it's going to suck. And so
Well, I
I
mean,
come,
but the thing
I don't
about
read
that,
that
like,
much, I'll be honest.
I,
Just like programming stuff only.
well, I remember Kat said this one thing, and it was really, really mind opening because I've always loved reading. Like, I'm a big piece of shit, but I love reading, and the thing is, it's just like, yeah, books are boring, and most like 10% of people that buy books actually finish the book. Everyone else just kind of buys it and then leaves it. But the thing is like you don't. A book is not something that you need to sit down for one whole sitting and read it. That's not. You don't need to do that. Some people can do that, but it's just like I remember Katz would buy a book and then he just skip to the middle or skip to the end, and it and he's like, "Fuck it, you want to get me interested in this." Then you got to sell me. It's like you wouldn't go into a movie without seeing a preview. So the same thing, you just skim through, see the chapter outline, go, oh, this looks interesting. Oh, this looks interesting, and then he'd go back and he'd start reading it, and then he'd only do like a chapter or two at a time. He'd have like 10 books at a time. If you do that and treat it like Twitter, you will get those dopamine hits. It's like what is it? It's like when you're on a date, never leave on a low note, leave on a high note, so then they want more.
Yeah, I like a funny thing that actually happened to me. I was I don't want to say super avid, but I was an avid reader. I would read, I don't know, like I don't want to, I can't even say accurately, but I would read, I don't know, 4 books at least a month. More than that, realistically, I'd have like peaks of like 6, 7, 8 books a month when I was in high school, like throughout that time. And actually, what swayed me away from that was emergent fucking language learning because like it took so long. Like I ended up like it. I studied Japanese for 3 years, and I ended up reading like 40, around 40 books, and but like a lot here of other things, and then online a bunch of things. But I read about like 40 books. And then during that time, I wasn't reading English books. It was kind of like a bad thing that I did there. I should have just kept reading like as I had been because now I'm out of the habit. I was like fully in the habit of reading. Like in school, high school, all I would do is read instead of actually listening to the teacher. So the whole like often I would just be called out for it, but it was fine. I would ignore her and
Well, it
continue.
just comes down to it comes down to priorities. It's always that's the hardest thing when it comes to language learning, especially doing it the AJAT way. It's just like what's your priority? It's you can't you can't do one thing and then do the other. You got to do all of it, right? And so, um, it's just putting time out of the day to do it. I mean, I'm lucky enough not to have a full time job. I mean, I'm gonna have to get one soon in order to get an apartment. But for the most part, it's like I think that overall, it's just time priority, making time to do that, and like also just making a conscious effort, being like, yeah, this is interesting. I want to spend more time doing this. But yeah, I think overall, everybody should have at least an hour or two of just reading or audiobook time per day. I think that'll really help the development in general. I mean, I've just been listening to. What have I been? Well, I've been listening to a lot of. What was the audiobook I listened to the other day? That was. Fuck, it was such a good audiobook too. Oh, damn. I hate it. Don't you hate that when it happens? It's like I literally listened to it 2 days ago. What the fuck? Damn it.
Don't feel bad. I
Anyway.
know like almost no book titles, even of the books that I read. So I think that's pretty
It
normal.
was.
They don't repeat the
Oh
book
my
title
God.
over and over in the actual book. You know what I mean?
Oh no,
You
no,
give
no,
it a
it
few
was
reps
great.
of it.
I remember it now because I bookmark these when I see them. It was called the Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
Oh, my mom keeps recommending me that book.
It's so good. It's so fucking good. You can't deny it. It's so fucking good. But they that book, like, it's only like a 6-hour audiobook or whatever. I remember I just sat down one day and I just did a bunch of other shit on my phone while just laying down and listening to it. But you know, I mean, like, just sitting down and giving yourself the chance to just turn your brain off. And like, what I like to do is I like to read like serious fucked up manga, and then I'll listen to it with the Bleach soundtrack in the background. The Bleach soundtrack is one of the best fucking soundtracks. It's so fucked up.
You mean the
It's
ones
just
like with the black ladies who sing on that one song?
whoa, whoa, whoa!
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know that song.
That one, no, like, specifically, I'm talking about the song like Battle Ignition, where it's like whenever Ichigo's getting pissed off or something, and like, you know, I can't like recreate it because
Yeah.
it's like,
Oh, what? I think I know which one you're talking about.
I know what
though.
you're
It definitely
talking
gets you
about,
hyped.
so,
Yeah.
just look up Bleach Battle Ignition and you'll know what the fuck I'm saying. It's so good. But anyway, like, for my Patreon, one of the things I do is that for the $35 a month patron guys, I send out a manga. And so when I usually just go through a whole series and then I'll read it, and then I'll send it to the guys, and I'll send it with my study notes in there. And sometimes I'll write shit, but also I just have this habit of since when I met Cats, and let me see if it's here at all. But okay, I guess not. Like, basically, one of my habits is that when I read a manga, if there's a word that I don't know, I'll put a sticker there. And I guess I can't find it here, but yeah, like, I was reading, like, you know, like fucking Battle Royale or something, and I read this first in English in high school, and I was like, holy shit, like, reading it again in Japanese, like, that's the best feeling ever. You're like, I used to like this and now I understand it. Oh god. But yeah, I mean, like, that's one of the fun things I do. I'll buy a whole series of manga that I really like, and then I'll just send it out to my patrons with my study notes in it.
Like physically,
Afterwards.
like each patron will get a physical volume.
Yep. Well, I mean, every $35 a month patron, they get like 5 other bonuses, but that's one of the big bonuses.
That's pretty
they
cool.
They get a book in the mail. Yeah, I mean, like, isn't that cool? It's not just a book; it's like study notes too. It's like, oh, so that's a word that Sam doesn't know.
They get a piece of Tkyo in their house.
I should start signing these. I don't know if people want me to. I wouldn't want that. I'd be like, just give me the book. But
right.
yeah,
No,
like,
You
I would
should.
want
You
it. I would
definitely
want it
should.
signed.
Yeah.
You?
Yeah. Think about it. People are
They,
like paying $35. You know.
Because, like, you know how if you were
Yeah,
gonna
you
buy
probably
someone a
want
book
that.
for their birthday, you'd like write them a little note in it, and like. the front.
yeah.
Well,
Okay, let's see if you guys know this word. I don't know. It's basically the kanji for uso, and
so
it's like lie and nothing. No akuma nanda.
it's whatever kukyo. What is it? I know
Kyomu?
this. What is it? Oh, kyomu. Oh, for nothing. I see.
Kyomu, yeah, like
that wasn't
nothingness.
uso. Yeah. That's we said uso, so that was not uso one. There's also isn't there uso plus the top kanji? Isn't that a word?
Wait,
No.
uso maybe has like kuchi on the
Uso
side
plus
of it.
like.
yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kyomu. Yeah,
Uso is like
well,
to-
that's
No, I don't think so. I
Is
don't think
there?
there's uso
What am I
in
thinking
mu.
of?
I don't think
Not
that's the
mu.
word.
No uso.
well,
and
no. But I
ku.
meant that kanji
like the
right
other
there.
one.
Oh, yeah, I was right. So it is this kanji but of kuchi next to it. So that's uso. Okay, I got that wrong, but yeah, like the nothing. Akuma, the devil of nothingness.
I mean, I
It's so
don't
cool.
do Japanese.
But
in a
anyway, I'm
minute,
like,
so-
I got the meaning, but I was like, what the fuck does? I don't know how to say that like out loud. So there you go, boom, sticker.
Yeah, that's a cool word. I've heard also like kyomukang meaning like a feeling of emptiness, of nothingness.
Isn't that great too? Like, yeah, that's one of the great things. That's like, I mean, that's one of the best things about being in Japan too, is that like you'll be able to just go out and you can talk. You know, I mean, that's the big difference between. It's like it's good to want to be perfect, but at the same time, like, are people gonna understand you or not? Because like I met, there were some two people off the top of my head that I've met that were just they were kind of socially awkward, but like I mean they had friends, you know, but they both had JLBT level 1 and they had all this knowledge, I guess apparently when it came to the tests. They're good at test taking, but when it actually came to using that knowledge in real life, they'd freeze up, they'd choke, and they just sound like either they'd stutter or they'd have a bad accent, or they would use words that no one ever uses. And so it's like, oh, I wish I had a good example of that. Like, it was so funny because like I had, well, anyway, when I was with them though, they would be out and like they would be saying these words to Japanese people, and Japanese people, like normal people, are like, what are you talking about? And like I'd get what they were saying, and then I'd have to explain in my dumbed down, stupid, oh, I'm sorry, you know, like Japanese to the guy. I'm like, oh, he meant this, and they're like, oh, okay. And I'm like, I have to be the dumbed down translator for that guy. And
Matt had an interview with someone like that who got N1, and then
Yeah.
oh, cool.
yeah,
I have an interview on my channel. That it's one of my most viewed videos. It's called N1 and Still Not Fluent.
yeah.
This guy
There's
he just studied. He never actually listened to any Japanese. He just
there's
studied all day
audio
and
of
got
him
N1.
speaking it, and he speaks exactly the way you described.
Yeah, and I know what you mean, because it's like what those people do is they think in English or whatever the native language is, and then they try to translate it literally. And so it's like if you also speak English, you can tell what they want to say, even though Japanese people can't tell, because you can like reverse translate it into English and then get what they mean.
I think it's also because they don't
Exactly.
have they don't have a, since they're not immersing, they don't have a good grasp of what's common language and what it sounds like. So they kind
Yeah,
of
they just think it's like, oh, if it was in the textbook, then surely it's natural.
yeah.
Surely it's common.
Well, I mean, on a separate note, good. Well, you know, big props to them for being able to actually sit down and do that stuff. Because I can't. Like, it's just too much. Like my gaijin students I teach Japanese to, they were like, "Are we going to use a textbook or whatever?" I'm like, "Well, we can use that as supplemental, but you're going to be sticking just to flashcards for right now." And they're like, "What? Why?" I'm like, "Because I shut up. That's why." I mean, come on. Like, when was the last time you finished a textbook? They're like, ah. Yeah, I was like, that's what I thought. Like, they're like, I have the Genki textbooks. I'm like, when did you buy those? 3 years ago? Did you finish them? No. Like, yeah, dude, like, you can do those. Yeah, go for it. Are you really going to do it, though? And they're like, probably not. And then I was like, well, we'll do it. You know, do it for a week. They didn't do it at all. I'm like, okay, there you go. People are so afraid, or they're like, they just don't want to hear that, like, you can improve your language so much just through, you know, watching Netflix and doing flashcards. They don't want to hear that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like some people actually have a belief that there's some kind of knowledge encapsulated in those textbooks that aren't in the actual Japanese. And I was like, well, what do you need to know that's not going to be in the actual Japanese? Like, what magic sauce do you think they have somehow encapsulated in this magic book?
I remember, oh god, I don't know. I think Katz may have said that in the video that I recorded, but yeah, it's like people think that they're going to get this like essence, this diamond crystallized version of Japanese, all the Japanese they'll ever need to know in these 4 books for $4.99 or something, you know? I remember I was so stupid. Like, when I waste money on something stupid, I remember that. Like, it's like a curse, like a gift and a curse. And I remember I bought the JLPT2 Mastery textbook series. Each one of the books was like $15 each. I bought them off Amazon, and I went through them, and like I would skim through them first, and like because my friend recommended them to me who had passed JLPT, and I looked at them and I'm like, a majority of them you need the CD to listen to, and it's like you listen to it and then you do that, and that is part of the JLPT, but that was like a majority, it seemed, of each book. So even the kanji book, I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? So I don't know. It's whatever, but I don't know. I was just like, it's, if you want to learn, if you want to do the JLPT, it's just simple. Just don't even study for it. Just do a mock test. That's all you gotta do. Just do a mock test. See how you did, and then be like, okay, and then just assess from there what you need to do to fix it up. That's all it is. Like, The JLPT-1 test is such a bullshit fucking. It's like oh god, like the listening part too. It's just like did I say that I rode the streetcar or did I say that I
it's like
came
purposely
upon the
confusing.
streetcar? Like, you fucking
I did the N1 as well, so I do remember that.
those shyster sons of bitches.
Like I
Yeah,
actually
fuck
did the
them,
worst.
you know?
I did the worst like on listening, even though like that was my best part.
Yeah, because it's
of-
not just language ability; it's also it's like a short-term memory / IQ
Yeah.
test built in.
Yeah, it is. So I did the worst on that. Like on the reading, I got like I actually have it over here. I could do. Should I show it? Maybe I'll show it.
Nah, I don't think
I did, but I mean, I did really good. I mean, I don't care either. But I'm saying I did really like decent on the reading and like that, and then the listening. Even though like I actually could understand regular Japanese way better, and then it was just like awkward. I felt. So I did feel that.
Well, I think that it's like for all it's just it's like Katz put it the best. So it's like if you go through a Japanese headhunting company versus a foreign one. The thing is that if you go through foreign, like for anybody who's watching this later on, like if you want to work in Japan for like a Japanese company for whatever reason, I think it's good. I think overall working at a Japanese company, it's hit or miss. Either you're going to have a really good time and you're going to learn a lot, or you're going to have a really shit time and learn a lot. Like, you know, it's either way. If you think of it as just a learning experience, then, and you have enough savings where you can like tell them to fuck off, whatever. It's so good. It's so fucking good. But anyway, it's just like for when you are going to work at a Japanese company, it's just like you can either go through the foreign recruiting like Gaijin Pot or like Hayes or East and West or whatever, but those places, they're always going to want your JLPT. They don't care if you have native level Japanese or like nearly native and you can read a lot. It doesn't matter to them. They just want to see that stupid piece of paper. So I suggest for all of you guys who want to go out and like you already have that, but you just don't want to take the JLPT, I still suggest overall, if you can do it, take the JLPT. Like I knew this guy named Brett. He's the only foreigner I think that's ever passed the Kanji Kente #1 or whatever, the kanji test in Japan, and he lives in Shizuoka, and he just took the JLPT for fun, and he never studied for it, and he passed. And this is a guy who just studies kanji, you know. But like if you like JLPT should always be like I guess I'll try that when I get fluent enough and I'm bored. But like if you guys want to get your foot in the door, go through a Japanese headhunting company. You can find it. Use your big boy words. You can find it on Google, and then just submit your resume through there. And then when they talk to you on the phone, they're like, oh shit, okay, this is a foreigner, right? Then they're going to be willing to go to the bat for you more when they take you to an interview. So just keep that in mind. Don't go through foreign headhunters. Go through regular Japanese, what do you call it? Streamlined shit.
Well, with that, Sam, I think those are good words of wisdom to the people listening and the people who will listen in the future. I am near collapse, and I think Matt is close to that, but not as close as I am. So I just want to thank you for coming. And
sorry for being late here,
no,
boys.
it's all good, man. It's all good. I mean, the first hour I was on caffeine, so I was a bit more lively, which is fine. But I will send you a link to that tool when it comes out in hopefully September, and I'll send you some links to some of the stuff we've been working on, just so you can, like, if you want to, you can check it out. If not, there might be something interesting there for you. So if you want to check it out, cool. And
yeah, that's fine. This was fun. I feel like I owe like an extra interview after all this bullshit that I put you through for rescheduling and everything. If you guys want to do this again, and hell, like maybe we could even do half the podcast in Japanese, that would be fun.
I'm down.
Okay, we'll do it. I don't care. Let's go.
Oh, come on, don't be
Not
afraid
now, though.
of
Not
having
at
them
2.
judge your.
Can we
your,
do it
your Japanese?
Japanese like evening time? That might be better. No, I'm good. I'll go for it. I definitely need to re-immerse for like a day though. That'd be scary.
It's just like, what is it? It's like put your money where your mouth is, bro. It's like my Japanese ain't perfect, but I still sell Japanese lessons because it's like, do you want to get functional or not, bitch? You know, and all it is regurgitated cat stuff through Sam's cool vocab, pretty much. But people still join, people still hang out. But anyway, yeah, let's do a podcast. Hell, we could even do just like, because if you're like, oh, so much brain power, because it does take a lot of extra brain power, separate part of your brain to speak Japanese. We could just do it for like 5-10 minute segments or whatever, and then pause and do English and then Japanese again or something. You can figure it out.
Yeah, we can do a little Japanese.
Yeah, let's
It's
do
alright. Okay, not now. Not at 2 a.m. Not 2 a.m. But yeah, we can do it. Yeah, in the future. Let's go ahead.
I wanna wake up earlier in general from now on too. I woke up at 12 today just because I was up last night doing a lot of YouTube stuff and I wanted to finish it before I went to bed. So, but I'd like to wake up at 6 a.m. from now on. So if earlier than this, if you guys want to do it, we could do that.
Yeah, that
Cool.
would be better for
Ideally,
both
hopefully,
of us.
yeah,
Yeah.
we'll both be able to be a little
Or
bit more
like,
energetic.
or at least like half our normal IQ and like receptiveness at this time. I'll be honest.
Yeah,
So
no worries, guys. No worries.
good stuff. Well, yeah. Thanks for coming on, and thanks for being Papa Tkyo. That's all we can really say.
Thanks for being great, sons. Great. Thanks for being great and
Awesome.
hot. Thanks for being so hot and great.
Awesome, man. Well, with that, we will talk to you again. Yeah, we'll talk through Discord. We'll set something up again in the future, and we'll do a little Japanese. We'll see how that goes. Ugh, I haven't. Yeah,
This sounds good. This
I'm
sounds
the
good.
least practiced
Okay.
of this group lately. So, but it'll be all right. All right. Well, with that, man. Cheers and have a good day and
Yeah, guys.
night too. Yep. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Sleep well, Matt. Sleep well. I will try to do
Thanks.
the same. All right, fantastic, guys. Okay, I'm gonna stop the recording now. Stop streaming.